a note of that. Whenever we get around to writing our wills, just be like, in the event of my death, I want Adeline and Keisha to continue to do the podcast under penalty of law. This is in my will. You have to do it.
You have to do it, George Washington.
I guess I'll do it.
No backsies.
George Washington says you have to do it. I'll haunt your ass.
I've been saying that when I die, I'm gonna force my family to give me a Chinese funeral, but I don't think I actually will. But I kind of want it, you know? It's like so much.
What does that entail?
So there's like just a lot of pomp and circumstance. You have to. It's a lot. Like there's like 3 days of banquets. It's the responsibility of the family. We had to like put a coin, like a dollar coin, in a bunch of envelopes. Like there's special envelopes for when you die. And like if someone came to either day of the funeral, because there's like a family showing day, there was like the actual funeral day, if you showed up to the cemetery. So all of that, you got a little coin. And then at the very end, like you have to like grab for money. You have to burn a bunch of like paper and like and some other stuff to send it up to the spirit world.
Right.
You have to like have a parade back to the house going, you know, follow us, this is your home, welcome back to home, because you have to make sure that the spirit,
this house, not that one.
No, so because if your spirit gets lost.
Well, did you forget between when you
died?
I don't
know. I think it's because
a lot's happened, Jackson.
I guess you're stressed out, probably.
I think it's because you don't want to invite other spirits in, so you're like specifically you, Keisha Rhodes, your spirit lives here. None of you other jokers. Also, you have to cover up all of your mirrors and artwork until after the ceremony. Your family can't get a haircut for a month after they die or after the funeral. You can't wash your hair until after the funeral because you could wash the spirit out. No jewelry, no makeup.
Do you have to hide your knives, or is that somebody else? Is that a different tradition?
Do what? With knives?
Do you have to hide your knives?
No, I don't know anything about that.
Okay,
cool. If anything, we are using a lot of knives.
It sounds. I was gonna say you gotta guide them to their own house. You gotta make sure you hide the knives. It sounds like you're just like going freaking crazy after you die. You're like, I don't know what's going on.
You are. I don't know either. You can't look when the body goes into the ground. You have like turn away. Everyone turn away. So I don't want anyone I don't want anyone seeing my dead body anyway, though.
Right. Fair
like
enough.
It feels weird. Like I don't.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to an open casket funeral?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because I don't like it. It's the worst.
I'm gonna say, if you didn't see me when I was alive, like tough shit. Like, sorry.
Too late now.
Like this, your opening. Enjoy the memories, but I don't want you seeing my dead ass body.
Thanks for the memories, even though they weren't so great.
Yeah. I mean, if they're not
like
good,
you,
like,
only sweeter.
Like this isn't. Yeah. Like that. Exactly.
How did they get it so right?
Fall out, boy. Like you fell out of your chances of seeing my face.
Oh, nice.
Boy.
When I lived at home, every once in a while, our dad is a pastor, Adeline and I's dad. And so, like, every once in a while, I had, like, a special in for, like, weddings and funerals. They'd be like, hey, we'll give you $100 if you come and, like, run the slideshow for a funeral or a wedding.
Yeah.
I didn't, too. It's, I don't take it normally.
Right. Well, I did normally. And it's, like, because you show up for, like, an hour. You show up for, like, an hour, and you hit the space bar a few times. Yeah. And there's a lot of pressure.
Like, here's $100.
Like, it is a lot of pressure, because you're, like, wedding slightly less so, like funerals slightly more, where it's like, wow, this is tough, and if I fuck this up, I'm gonna look like a real dickhead,
a real jackass.
But like that's the only time I've been to an open casket funeral. It was like this dude I'd never met. I didn't know him. I just showed up, and there was just like a dead guy like there, and I was like, oh, cool. Like, I don't even go here. I'm just here for the slideshow, but like whatever.
I just don't like it. Like,
oh, it's bad.
And then if you think about it for too long, you're like, ooh, what did they have to do to you to make you look like
the fact that the family has to like get them dressed up and like put makeup on them and stuff. It's like,
well, like post family doesn't do that. But
That's in my
family
will.
doesn't do that.
Adeline has to be the one to embalm me.
No. I mean, like, specifically, they're not embalming you, but, like, you, like, pick out the clothes that they have to wear and stuff like that. It's weird.
Let's be clear, though, Adeline. You will be embalming me. It's going to be in my will.
I will not be.
You've got to be the one who's going to suck all my guts out and put the gel inside. You will be a gross, bloated corpse.
Yeah, I'll just dump you right on the altar or whatever, because I'll just dump you right into the volcano, because that's where we're doing it.
Yeah.
Adeline has to be the one to dump me into the volcano.
Obviously, I want to like my organs. I want to donate those as much as I can, which is why I take care of my body so well. But I want my bones turned into a sculpture. That will be.
I want my bones turned into dice. Are you kidding me?
I want my skin bound into a book.
I don't want your bone
it
dice
turned to leather.
What? Why not?
Bone dice. Well, you're gonna be dead, so it doesn't matter.
That's my nickname in high school. Bone dice.
Bone dice.
Bone dice.
Okay, what book, Keisha? What book are you turning your skin into?
I don't know. I feel like
the Deathly Hallows, Jackson.
Yeah, I want my skin bound into the Deathly Hallows.
Like
the Harry Potter bags.
Because there are a few options here. Because it could be something like creepy, like the Bible. I feel like would be creepy as a skin book.
Weird, too haunted.
Or something really funny like green eggs and ham.
Yeah,
that's just weird. I don't feel like that's funny. I just feel like, why'd you... If that was like an artifact I had to keep in my house, I'd be like...
I just think it'd be like, here's my grandma.
You know what I think is...
Like a fun bit would be like Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, that would be good. Or like the second Percy Jackson book.
Right.
That's my favorite one. Shut up.
It is a good Sea of Monsters. It's a good one.
It's a good one. I think Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is a good contender for that.
That's weird. That's a weird vibe. That has like a power.
Yeah,
that is a very powerful energy.
Yeah, doesn't it? That's what I'm doing. It's a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy bound in human skin. What's up?
Yeah.
I understood the assignment.
And then your family, you have to hold on to it. You're like, this is very important. Yeah. You have to, it'll pass down through the generations, or it'll end up at Goodwill and no one will know.
Jesus.
I'll just be like, oh, a book.
They're like, and you're like, oh, this is a cool leather-bound book. Sure. Why not?
Not the kind of leather you're thinking of.
And then joke's on them, it's me, and I'm haunting their house now.
Either that or like a Leatherface style lamp. We'll be like,
no.
Maybe
just a fun mask.
Ed Gein did it in real life.
So what would be here's the assignment.
Yes.
What would be like just from an interior design standpoint? What would be the worst thing that you would be forced to leave people in your will that was made out of you? Like, if you wanted to do, like, maximum damage to the vibes of your friends and loved ones' houses, like, what are you getting made into?
Seat cover.
I would say again?
Toilet seat cover.
Ooh, toilet seat cover's bad.
But it's made out of your face.
Yeah. Yeah. And, like, your mouth is, like, open. Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh, God.
I don't think there's a company that does that yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Wait.
Hey, lucrative
Starting
business.
today. Welcome to day 0. Welcome in on the ground floor.
Well, this is we can go on Shark Tank for this.
Shark Tank, yeah.
Hello,
really
Shark.
Surprised.
We don't have any infrastructure. We just have the idea. What if you could turn your face into a toilet seat cover?
I'm asking for
when you die.
$1 million for 20% equity in my company, turning your body into a gross thing for your family.
Haunting your family, but more in a literal way than like a spiritual way.
Yeah.
My company is going to be a for-hire bespoke remains. I don't know. What do you even call it?
Customizer.
Yeah, there's
remains customizer.
Yeah. What else would you call it?
Family inheritance.
So surprised. I am so surprised that there's not a company that's like, donate your body to horror movies and or haunted houses. Like that feels like. That just, like, feels like the next big thing. And people would be, like, upset about it, but, like, we'd all be talking about it. Like, oh, when I die, I want to donate my body to a haunted house and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because, like, it's as long as it's consensual.
Yeah,
like,
I was going to say,
wrong,
you get into
gross,
weird territory when it comes to, like, consent with what you do with your dead body. I don't know.
Yeah,
Skeleton
I mean,
and
'cause, like,
Poltergeist. That was like a
if
real
you like
skeleton.
went into a haunted house and they were like, "Yo, this is a real dead body," I'd be like, "Gross, disrespectful." But if they were like, "Yo, here's a dead body," and they super wanted to be here, I'd be like, "Ah, hell yeah, what cool."
I feel like you wouldn't be able to hang on to it for very long. I feel like a
No.
fresh dead body
That'd be
would
a
be
quick
good.
turnaround.
Would be good in a haunted house for like 4 days maximum.
Yeah. And
It
not in
depends
the
on what you do to
summertime.
it.
This is a
guess.
Halloween exclusive.
Have you seen those? Like, you can donate your body to like the police station and they'll just like leave it out in a field or like in the cold.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
And just to see this is what a 4 weeks of remains looks like. This is what you look like after 6 months.
They just like put you in a fish tank and they're like, "Oh, I wonder what would happen."
Ooh, fish tank.
Ribcage fish tank.
I know.
That's the name of my band.
Ribcage fish tank.
Are you guys recording, by the way?
Pretty good.
No,
I can be. Well, we're in the preamble. I wasn't.
I forgot.
I'm just
I
checking.
forgot that.
Just checking we're all good.
I would have forgotten if you hadn't said anything, so I'm glad you
forgot that we're recording a podcast.
I was just hanging out. Hanging out. Do you think at my next like work conference online I should wear these instead of like actual just earbuds?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I feel like they don't look that weird. I feel like they would just be like, "Oh, those are kind of silly headphones." I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I just want people to respect me. They're like, "Oh my gosh, classic youth ministry."
Oh my god, I'm quirky for Jesus.
You know me, quirky for Jesus. That's what they call me.
Jesus.
Quirk check.
Just.
Oh my god. Don't talk. Okay, so at my store, we have a lot. We're like vaguely a religious store. We're not like Hobby Lobby or anything, so we're not horrible. But like we have like some like religious stuff just scattered around. But we have, for some reason, we have exclusively Christian coffee mugs. Like that's the only kind of coffee mugs that we have.
Yeah,
and if I see one more, don't talk to me before I've had my Jesus mug. I'm just over it.
Is that one?
They're like full of coffee and also Jesus. I like guarantee you that's one of them. Like don't wake me up before I've read Matthew 3:16 or whatever.
Matthew 3:16? It's a deep cut.
No, it's the one.
No, John 3:16.
John
tell us what Matthew. No, I want to know what
Daniel 3:16.
It's probably just like Joseph who begot blah blah who begot blah blah. Matthew was like so much at the beginning.
Fuck Matthew. I'm gonna say it. Fuck Matthew.
Wow. Adeline taking a hard stance against the prophet Matthew.
Oh, it's Jesus getting baptized. My B.
Oh, cool. That's probably
pretty good. That's a good one.
That's probably a
yeah. So there you go. It's probably a good take.
You know,
put that on a mug. Hey, Shark Tank.
Hey, Shark Tank. So we're gonna. I think it would be kind of funny to do like Bible verses. You know how like there are like those like coasters or whatever, like those mugs that you're talking about, but it's like the really horrible ones,
right?
Like that are like, and then 2 she bears mauled 42 of the youths, like, and you're like, it warms my heart. I love scripture.
Yeah.
I just want the one where Jesus gets really pissed at the fig tree because there's no figs on it.
It's true.
That's a
what
good
if you
one.
went on Shark
like
Tank?
The one.
What if you went on Shark Tank and you're just like, my idea is a line of ceramic mugs, but get this, with Bible verses on them. Like
$1 million. They would be fools not to invest.
They're like, oh yeah, Midwestern moms are always looking for the next big mug.
And they're all watching Shark Tank.
It's true. It's true.
They're all watching. They're like, I could use one of those.
I could use one of those. You know those big, it's just like a big sweatshirt with like, that's it. That's all it is. What they call it, like the snuggle shirt or whatever. Like that's just moms waiting for things to buy for Christmas.
My sister has one of those. It's it's not a snuggie. Right. It's a comfy.
It's not a snuggie.
It's a comfy.
It's literally just an oversized sweatshirt with like blanket material on the inside. Like it's not really that it's like, amazing of an idea.
I almost kind of wonder. It's almost like biology. It's like at what point can we designate the difference between a snuggie and a robe and a comfy and a sweatshirt?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's like when we're filling in all the missing links between ape and man.
Yeah.
It's like we just keep getting like smaller and smaller like gradations between the two.
I think that's just what late stage capitalism is, Jackson.
It's true.
Capitalism breeds innovation. We have 12 different kinds of robes/sweatshirts.
I like the one, it's like a sleeping bag, but it looks like a shark. Or they're like different animals where you're like sleeping inside of an animal.
It's like the mermaid tail. Yeah.
That's fun. That's fun.
Mermaid tail.
That's a fun product. I don't know what
it's a fun one.
There's so many good
and funny socks, man. You can put whatever, dude. You can put whatever you want on socks.
Bible verses on socks.
Bible verses on socks. Bible verses on oven mitts.
You ever?
Fuego, call us.
I'm googling.
Bible verses on socks?
Bible verse socks.
On socks?
It would probably be something stupid about like walking with Jesus, like footprints in the sand or whatever.
It looks like the only people doing socks with Bible verses are on Redbubble. This is a whole other market.
Are you kidding me?
Shark Tank.
Here's an Etsy store called Scripture Socks.
Here's a John 3:16 socks, but not Matthew 3:16.
But not Matthew's.
And
you don't
then
care
Jesus
about when that dove
baptized.
flew over during Jesus' baptism?
So yeah, there are a couple people on like Redbubble and like Etsy who are doing Bible verse socks, but nobody in like nobody's like trading publicly. And I feel like that's where we can swoop in.
These socks are unavailable on Amazon Prime, but it's a Philippians verse, but they're upside down crosses on them. Those dummies.
Yikes.
Because it'll be on your feet, but that's
Philippians. Are there even any good ones in Philippians?
I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Oh. I always thought Philippians was just one of
Welcome
those weird
to No
ones.
Nerds Allowed, a Christian podcast.
Philippians? No, here's the thing though.
Let's just all go around and talk about what this Bible verse means to us.
This is funny though. At the beginning of Philippians, Paul is writing to the Philippians, surprise, and he's like,
oh, that's right.
Hey,
it's one of the epistolary ones. That's right.
Yeah. That's right. And he's like, hey, so here's the deal is that I really honestly would prefer to be dead right now because my life is like really hard.
What's up, gang?
I would rather be with Jesus, just to be frank, just to be completely transparent with you. But since I'm still alive, I guess I'll just keep helping you out, I guess. Like that's
so
how the chapter starts. That's how it starts. He's like, I would love to be dead, but I'm not. So I guess
I'm doing this instead of killing myself.
It's hilarious. And I was like, I led a Bible study on Philippians last year during like the very beginning of the pandemic.
Right.
And I was like, I don't know how to process this right now with 13-year-olds because I honestly, same.
Right.
We're all going through a lot.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't it be easier to be dead right now? Kind of.
But it's kind of
I could just have my funeral. I could like my skin would be bound into a lampshade. Like
ribcage fish tank.
Ribcage fish tank.
I think like hardcore Christians are just incapable of making the Bible relatable to teens in like a funny way, which is a crime because the Bible is hilarious. But like the people who want you to think the Bible is hilarious are incapable of like actually doing it. You know what I mean? Like they're always like, what if Hamilton was about Jesus? I'm like, no one fucking wants that.
Have you seen that? Jesus Christ of Nazareth.
No, that's terrible.
It's a real thing. It's so good.
There's
already musicals about Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why do
Jesus Christ Superstar, which is maybe the worst named musical of all
Christ
time.
Superstar
Why is it called
the
that?
Hamilton, wasn't it?
Honest to God was. They have a fucking show tune number in that play. Yeah. Absolutely.
Jesus Christ Superstar is a wild one.
Heaven on Your Mind.
It's good though. That's the thing.
Yeah. Well, I remember we went to that one production at Gonzaga that one time, and they had their own like unique arrangements of all the songs, and they like all were awesome. And I was sitting through that thing, being like, I didn't know all the music in Jesus Christ Superstar fucking ripped this hard. And then I like went home on Spotify. I was like, Jesus Christ Superstar, dude, yeah. And I was like, wait, this music fucking blows. And whoever was in charge of doing those arrangements was just really good at it. And they don't exist anymore.
Yeah, it just did an awesome job. Yeah.
So.
And
I was
Mr. Dixon, though, in the like live one that they did with John Legend,
right,
and everyone,
also pretty good.
Brandon Victor Dixon is one of the most talented people on this planet, and he's so good. And they like stripped the internet of his performance so that you can like watch it. And I search and search and search, but it's not there. Of Heaven on Their Minds, and it's so good. I just have to listen to it, but I want to watch him do it. I don't want to hear the pre-recorded. I want to see the live version.
Yeah. You can still, every time I go to Barnes & Noble, they still have DVD copies of the time that they did The Wiz live. So I don't know what's up with that.
Elijah Kelly I didn't like The Wiz live, but I love Elijah Kelly, and he was great. He was so good.
Yeah.
He was
standout performance.
He was a great.
He was a great, and he still is great.
Anyway, this has been Bible study with the No Nerds Allowed crew.
Enough about Jesus.
We moved into musicals.
About space Jesus.
I think, yeah. So here's the thing about the podcast this week. It might be weird because we wanted to do a commentary track of me watching it for the first time. And we did that, but then something went wrong. So we had to go back and try to do it again. And we did that, and now we've watched the movie and talked about it for 2 hours 2 different times already. So now we're like jumping in for a third. So like I'm okay with us just spinning our wheels about Jesus a little bit, because I feel like I don't know if we're gonna have a whole nother 2 hours.
Because we need content.
Yeah.
Because God, I can only complain about how this movie makes me sad so many times before I would just rather be dead. I'm doing this instead of suicide.
Okay, well then, what if this is like, how would you personally make this movie? Like, what could you do to minimally change it, but like make it that much better? Like, how would you have? What would you have changed?
Like, I think
you could minimally change it.
Fundamentally broken. I think
exactly. Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, there are some things that I would change that are like smaller that would make it better. Like, I would get rid of.
But it would still, at its core, it would still suck ass. Yeah. We cut out all the chipettes.
Yeah. So,
yeah. Everybody. Well, just.
We gotta start fresh, because not everybody's gonna listen to that commentary track. We gotta treat this like its own thing. We gotta take this seriously.
Okay, well, we gotta do the intro. Hello, my name is...
right. We're like 40 fucking minutes into the podcast at this point, probably. But
yeah,
hey,
man.
What's up? My name is Jackson Forrest McMurray.
No last name, goof? All right. My name is Adeline Skywalker Palpatine Solo.
Zolo?
Solo.
Oh, Solo.
Yeah, you know, like the Star Wars one?
I was like, who's Zolo? Like the Ouija board monster?
Oh, dip. And my name is Babu Frick. Just kidding, it's Keisha Rhodes.
and this is No Nerds Allowed.
No Nerds Allowed. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it.
Yes. So here we are, 25 minutes into the show. Drop the theme song.
Hit the track.
So we've done all the Star Wars now.
This is it.
Like, every time there's been a Star War, we've been there on the ground. Like, you know, boots on the ground. And we've been in the foxholes of every Star War. And, like, I don't know, I guess I'm just proud of us. Like, when we started doing this, it was like 2 years ago. I don't know, we made it, guys.
Yeah.
This movie hadn't come out yet.
That's
when
true.
You started.
It hadn't.
There's still hope in the universe.
And can I just say, it has been, the reason we started doing this is because when we weren't doing Star Wars episodes, we would literally talk about Star Wars every single episode. Like, we would spend like 20 minutes every episode just like talking about Star Wars. So like, we needed an outlet. And I feel like it's worked. I don't think we talk about Star Wars that much on the show when we're not doing a Star Wars episode.
Which episode was it where I just went off you about Rise of Skywalker? Was it the Alien vs. Predator episode?
It was way before that. Like when it was first coming out.
Of those. When I had seen it and you hadn't seen it.
Right, like right at Alien vs. Predator was like 4 months ago, Adeline.
Maybe it was A Bug's Life. Maybe it was A Bug's Life.
Yeah, I mean, it was earlier.
I just went off on you about the Rise of Skywalker. Yeah.
Because I just remember there were 3 episodes in a row where I had to like do extensive spoiler checks because it had just came out and we talked about it for like 40 minutes, like 3 weeks in a row.
Because it was just me telling you about the stupid shit that they pulled. And because, God, that was me and Ian's first date, was that we went to go see Rise of Skywalker, and that was a bad start, because let me tell you, I apologize to everybody who was in the theater with me when I watched that movie, because I couldn't not say things when things are happening on the screen.
Right.
When C-3PO's eyes go red and he starts speaking the Sith death language, and I'm just supposed to sit there politely in the theater. I'm just supposed to accept it.
They do C-3PO so dirty. They do C-3PO so dirty in this movie.
They do him so dirty.
In a weird kind of way that like they do him so clean, they do him dirty, right? Like
yeah.
C-3PO
well, they just fundamentally don't know what to do with him.
C-3PO needs to be done dirty. That is like part of the DNA of Star Wars, is doing C-3PO dirty. But they did him so clean that they just wrecked it. Like C-3PO, he's fucking squeaky clean, and like you don't get C-3PO, you know?
To C-3PO and to the like. They ignore him, but like in the wrong way. It's not like C-3PO's like, hey, what's up, everybody? They're like, haha, fuck you, C-3PO. He's just like, haha, what's up, everybody? And they're like,
right.
Hey, C-3PO.
Okay.
Like, you know, it's just, they just do it wrong.
Here's what I'm gonna say. I truly, like, now that I've seen it, I don't know, 2.5-ish times.
Yeah.
I truly think the part of this movie that drives me the most wild is that bad scene with C-3PO. Because, like, obviously I love C-3PO so much. And, like...
And Babu Frick.
A fundamental part of Star Wars is that everybody fucking hates C-3PO, right? Every Star Wars movie, the whole bit is that C-3PO fucking sucks and nobody likes being around him, right? And all of a sudden, there's that moment where C-3PO's like, well, I have this special data, but in order to access it, you'd have to erase my memory. And they're all like,
I want my memory.
Oh. They're like, ooh, I don't know how to do that. Like, C-3PO, we love you so much.
C-3PO, you could die. You could die forever, for real.
And like,
you could die in real life.
And they're like, and C-3PO's like, no. I will do, and they're like, no, we have to save you, C-3PO. We can't let you do this. And C-3PO's like, no, I'll do it. I'll do it for my friends. I'll make the ultimate sacrifice for my friends. And there's this shot where the camera like swoops in on his face as he says like, I'm just taking one last look at my friends. And there's like one other line that's even worse than that. And it's like, hey, fuck you, C-3PO. Go eat a dick, C-3PO. You're not fun to be around. Nobody likes you. Like, hey, why are we behaving like this?
I like C-3PO. But here's the thing. To me, is that C-3PO, like, he's not friends with these people.
No.
Like, we've never seen them on screen. But why don't you just say, why don't you say, I'm gonna do this for the betterment of the galaxy. Like, this is, like, I'm willing to make this sacrifice for the greater good. Like, that's why.
Or even I'm gonna do it for Leia, like somebody you have a relationship with. But it's like, Jackson, you're so right, because that's not how you use C-3PO.
No.
The way that you use C-3PO goes, so he's like, oh, we could do this, but C-3PO will lose his mind forever. And then Han Solo walks up and pulls that lever as hard as he can.
Exactly.
Like, that's how you use C-3PO.
And Ian makes a good point, which is that, like, in Return of the Jedi, when they go to the Ewok planet, and all the Ewoks are like, yes, C-3PO, we love C-3PO. It's like a funny reversal, right? It's so funny that they could possibly like C-3PO that much. Like,
it's very indicative of how much of this movie is just so reactionary to what they think fans like.
Right.
Because we're like, haha, C-3PO, like, he's essential, he's crucial, he's critical.
Beloved.
But in like Force Awakens, they nail it when he's like, "Hello, it's me,
so good.
So funny.
You can't recognize me because of my red arm." And then in this movie, they're like, "C-3PO is the lifeblood of our mission.
He's the bravest of us all.
He's the Captain America of our group. He's so important." And you're like, "What? Since when?" Like,
and that's
talking about.
This guy?
If anything, that's R2-D2, and he's not even in this movie.
Right.
And R2-D2 ain't doing shit.
Right.
And what makes me mad is like this Star Wars has the best robots. They're so good. They're so good at doing robots. Like BB-8, amazing. R2-D2, C-3PO, the one from Rogue One whose name I can never remember, but
K2SO.
I love him. K2SO. And then you have Dio too, and Dio is amazing. But the movie doesn't know how to handle all of these characters all at once, because BB-8 does jack shit in this movie. He's not doing anything. He's like there for like reaction shots. He's there for like reaction shots, and that's it. And Dio was owned by the guy that killed Rey's parents, and he knows where they are, I guess. Like, but
I don't even remember.
They just misuse him. Exactly, because it doesn't matter.
No.
It's like a sentence, and then we move on. And it's like, oh, here's a cute robot. You love him a whole lot. And like, yeah, I do love him a whole lot. And he does nothing. He's just there.
And like, I feel like, truly, I think the strongest elements of this movie are just like the fun little guys that show up sometimes.
Yeah.
Like,
guys,
Dio and Babu Frick are great. Like, I unironically, like, now that I've finally seen the movie, like, even though I hate, like, so much of this movie, even though I talked a lot in the commentary about how it doesn't feel like Star Wars and it's, like, fundamentally unsatisfying, even on a base Star Wars level, even in a way that the prequels still are, even though they are also bad, you know? But, like, in spite of that, I feel like those two guys are, like, fundamentally cemented as, like, part of Star Wars for me now, right? Like, those characters stand up so well on their own that I can be like, yeah, all my favorite guys. Han Solo, Woody Harrelson from Solo, Dio,
Babu Frick,
Benicio del Toro in Rogue One, Babu Frick, or in Last Jedi, whatever.
Benicio del Toro was in, wait, what did you say? Not Solo? I was gonna
Last
say
Jedi. That's what I was talking about.
I know, but you said that another movie. I was gonna say he makes a cameo. You have to find him. Ooh.
Oh, it's Solo.
Where is he?
Maybe
you don't know.
I should pitch the what's his name? DJ. I should pitch the DJ a Star Wars story Disney Plus franchise.
Yeah, we're just grifting.
You think Benny?
Just slowly
Benny would
grifting
be
through.
into that?
I don't know. What is Benny into these days? He does interesting choices. He was in that movie Mother. Did you see that?
Was he in Mother?
Oh wait, no, that wasn't Benicio del Toro.
No, I think you're thinking of
what's his name?
Javier Bardem, yeah.
It's Javier Bardem.
Similar energies. Javier Bardem is like if Benicio del Toro gained like 85 pounds of muscle.
Yeah, he's like, they have the same swagger.
Vibe. Yeah.
They have similar swagger. That's my bad. So.
I love Benicio del Toro because he's made a career of playing sweaty weirdos 100% of the time. Like, I wish I could have that career. Like, every Benicio del Toro character looks like they stink very badly. That's kind of his vibe.
Yeah.
That's right. That's correct.
But he's not even in this movie.
I was getting back to Rise of Skywalker, I was trying to, because we've all decided this doesn't feel like a Star Wars movie at all, which is so weird. Because they're so ham-fistedly giving you things that are Star Wars that we've already done in Star Wars. They're like, here's Star Wars. Here's Luke Skywalker lifting up the plane from the water. Do you remember when he couldn't do that in Return of the Jedi? Do you remember? Star Wars. And it's like, okay. I didn't want that, though. Like, it's so just reactionary. They're trying to give fans what they think that they want, because we gave them something new in The Last Jedi, and a portion of them hated it and screamed so loud that we're never going to try anything new ever again. And it's just, like, I just don't know, because I just don't understand it because like one of the main criticisms of The Force Awakens was that this is a New Hope again. And my hot take, even as the movies were coming out, was that it was fine that it was a New Hope again.
I was hyped.
Because I was hyped. It's a new hype again. And because it made sense as a starting point, because it felt so much like Star Wars. It felt so magical and perfect. And even though the exoskeleton of like the story and what we're doing was the same, like all of the bits like that were actually going on were very different from A New Hope. So it felt great and it felt good and it felt like Star Wars.
It was still like subverting expectations in a really specific and conscientious way.
Mm-hmm. It's just like I felt like it's because I don't know why The Force Awakens was so able to like be reactionary into we know that you love Star Wars and you're so excited about Star Wars again, so we're gonna give you the Star Wars that you're comfortable with and just kind of play around with it a little bit, like do some new things and like see what we like. And it was awesome and we loved it. And then we get to The Last Jedi and they're like, okay, we're gonna get weird with it. We're going somewhere else because we gave you something safe and now we're gonna go somewhere weird. And now that we have like that safe foundation, and then Rise of Skywalker is just like, what if we just throw all of that away and start the things from Star Wars that you like? Let's just do those things again. But we're not. But we're also not doing Star Wars even a little bit. We're doing more of a weird Dark Souls movie more than anything else. Like, what if we just put Star Wars things into this not Star Wars movie? What if we just put all of the Jedi that we've seen in any film talking? Is that enough to make it a Star Wars movie? Is that a Star Wars movie? If we put Han Solo in it, does that make it a Star Wars movie? And the answer is no, apparently.
We gave Chewbacca a medal. You like that, right? You want Chewbacca to get a medal,
you like the medal. That's a Star Wars thing. That's another Star Wars thing. R2-D2 is there. Is that a Star Wars thing? Does that count as Star Wars?
And like, I think that one of the things, we spent a lot of time when we're talking about these sequels about the argument of like they should have had a plan. Which, and I've gone into it, I've said like, I don't think that's necessarily true. I don't think you need to have a plan. And one of the things that I think is actually good about these movies, because they don't have a plan, is that it's sort of a blessing and a curse, because not having a laid out plan ahead of time allows you to be kind of reactionary, you know? Like, Force Awakens comes out, and we're like, we love this. But it is a little samey. Like, we've seen a lot of this stuff before. We were kind of hoping you would shake it up a little bit more. And Disney was able to respond to that. They were able to say, like, okay, well, let's think about it. Let's take that in stride. So we made something different. They shook it up a lot, and people were like, well, this was a little much for some people. We don't like this as much. And so they corrected way back the other way, right? It's like the I don't know, the double-edged sword of like being engaged with your audience, I guess. Like, I don't know. It's a weird line to try to walk, I guess.
Well, this new Star Wars trilogy feels so much like the difference between like Avatar: The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra, where like you don't have to have a whole plan, but like from the beginning of like the original Avatar: The Last Airbender series, they knew where they were building to. Like, you're building to Aang faces the Fire Lord, that is where you're building to, that's the end. And it doesn't matter like how you get there in the journey, like, and then that comes with different nuances and different characters and like different arcs and growth and cool backstory. But like with Legend of Korra, they did that in like one movie. They were like, doop doop, we're done, and one season where they finished this is where the end is, and then they're like, oh no, now what are we building to? Like, this movie.
Oh, like, actually, Nickelodeon is letting us live another season. What do we do?
That was so funny to me, because I just remember they were always like, it's just going to be one season, just a limited series, and they were like,
great. It would have been great if it's just one season.
And they were just like, oh wait, we are going to do a second one, though. And we were like, okay, that's fine. And they were like, actually 3. We're actually going to do 3.
Actually,
like, 4. It'll be like the old one. We're like, oh, okay, like, fine. I'm fine with that. That's fun. They're like, 4. 4, but then we're done. But then we're done with 4.
4? We're done. We're moving the 4th season to the internet. And if you're this invested, then you'll follow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like,
if you're that invested, what are you going to do now?
You want to see how their story arc ends? Well, follow us to Nickelodeon.com with your parent permission.
Web series.
But like
next
the original trilogy, like, you're building to the Emperor. Like, the Emperor is the final boss, and you like, and then you can like zigzag all the way through there, but you know that like this is it. This is the defeat. And in this trilogy, you're like, where are you building to? Like, what is the building to? Because it's like beat the First Order.
Right. I mean, yeah, but I don't know. I think it's pretty well documented how little of a plan they had with the original ones, though. You know? Like, it feels like it's a plan when you from the other end of it, but they didn't really. Yeah. They were making it up as they went along, you know?
But, like, you can tell that, like, this is the guy. Like, it's, like, Darth Vader is obviously, like, very scary. But, like, he's answering to Palpatine. In this movie, or in this trilogy, like, they wanted that to be Snoke at first. Right. And then I think it was a cool move to say, actually, it's not Snoke. It's actually Kylo Ren. Dummies, we tricked you. We tricked you with our tropes.
You think he's going to be saved like Darth Vader was saved, but actually maybe we do something a little different, something a little bit about how he doesn't want to be a traditional Sith and now the evils of neutrality and all that stuff. And we did something different. He's not Darth Vader. He's not his grandpa.
But then they're like, just kidding. Actually, we do want the same exact redemption arc to happen.
Right.
Just kidding.
I was thinking about...
Remember when Darth Vader and Luke kissed? That was my favorite part of Star Wars.
Gross.
I was thinking about... I know. Like, I watched the first part of this movie again today. Because
you're stronger than I am. I didn't watch the first
part. Well, because I think the first half of this movie is, like...
It's the best part.
It's, like, fine to watch, you know? Like... I think, like, that thing at the beginning where they're jumping through light speed is so fun. They're getting the information from the spy, and they're, like, figuring stuff out, and then they go to the planet where there's, like, the festival, and there's, like, some fun thematic stuff there. And that, like, opening scene with Kylo Ren and Palpatine's pretty fun in its own weird kind of way, and, like, there's a lot of stuff. It's, like, fine to watch. And I didn't watch the second half because I'd already seen it twice, and I didn't want to because I hate pretty much everything.
We already know that it's bad. Yeah.
Pretty much everything that happens from that point on. But, like, and, like, Dio and Babu Frick, you're like, yeah. And, like, I don't know, I guess I was just thinking, like, if you're picking up where Last Jedi left off, I think it is hard, because unambiguously they killed Snoke, right? And, like...
It was ambiguous, because he was a clone.
Well, right. I mean, just from the context of that movie in a vacuum.
Like, there's always room for a clone. Yeah, yes, who's dead.
But, like, so you're like, okay, my name's J.J. Abrams, I'm gonna write a third one. Like, saying, okay, well, maybe Palpatine's behind it so we can have some kind of escalation, like, kind of makes sense. And I like it's a little bit vague, obviously, but I like the idea of Palpatine being, like, this is, like, dark side, like, deep, angry force magic. In a way that it really does kind of feel like it's interacting with Revenge of the Sith in a way that, like, Disney Star Wars doesn't really do. They don't like to talk about the prequels very much if they can help it. So, like, I think that's okay. You know, like, there are a lot of things that, like, specific elements of this movie that I can vibe with where I'm like, okay, yeah, like, this is kind of something and I see where you're going with this. But, like, as a whole, I think, like, I honestly think the fatal flaw of this movie, because even if it were still all the things that we hate about it, right? Even if it were still super reactionary, even if it were still, like, really basic, even if it were still, like, absolutely flying in the face of everything we were, like, building to, I think that if it came together and felt good to watch, I wouldn't hate it nearly as much, right? Like,
yeah, because that's the thing. It does all these things that we hate, and then it's also not a fun movie to watch.
It's also weird and, like, uninteresting and kind of, like...
and paced weird. We don't always know what we're doing.
And it just feels Jedi so like, arbitrary, and so much of it is so contrived, and they're just, like, bumping from place to place.
And nobody has a fucking plan in this movie. We're just doing things.
And so I just think that, like, I can't help but think that, like, I would give a lot of these ideas the benefit of the doubt a lot more if I liked the movie. You know, if that makes any sense at all.
Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, if it was
Return of the Jedi... I'm not, like, there are things in Return of the Jedi where I'm like, this is stupid. But I love that movie because it feels good to watch it.
Yeah.
So, like, but this movie it never feels good. I guess there are moments.
It feels good sometimes.
We talked about it. We talked a lot about it in the commentary, but, like, there are isolated moments where you're like, this is good. But within the context of the movie, you're like, it's so stupid and I hate it. I hate this stupid water lightsaber battle, and it should be cool, but I hate that it's happening.
I also,
exactly.
second time around, I warmed up to the Force Dyad lightsaber battle a lot more. Like, the first time I was like, this is kind of fun. Second time I was like, actually, this kicks ass. Actually, I'm super into this.
Yeah, it's dope.
And I mean, just to say, like, it has moments, right? Like, these are a bunch of people who know what they're doing and are good at, like, making movies. And, like, the craft of it is all there, but the writing of it is so just whack in, like, so many different ways, you know?
It's
in production, like so many people have voiced that like there's so much that didn't make it in and they're confused, and like there was like Kathleen Kennedy versus J.J. Abrams versus blah 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 blah, and I'm sure that's true, but like it just is such a shame that this is where they landed. They were like, this is probably what audiences will respond to, and we're not going to take any chances. We're going to bet it all on Red, baby.
On Palpatine.
And, like
Palpatine in Fortnite, baby.
Yes.
These are our golden geese that are gonna fly us into the sun.
Like, everyone loves Palpatine, and Ian McDermott is so good. But at what cost? Like, for what?
Pourquoi?
For why?
Pourquoi?
I just, I don't know what to say. I don't like. I've said it all. Like, I'm so mad. And I'm so sad. Like, I feel like my friend Katie, she loves Star Wars so much. Like, Star Wars is her favorite thing in the world. And we hate a lot of the same things about Rise of Skywalker, but she just loves Star Wars, so she loves all of them. Like, she loves all the prequels, she loves all the originals, she loves all the ones. And, like, she, like, fully recognizes that, like, there's a lot of flaws and it's a bad movie, but, like, she loves it anyway because it's Star Wars and there's C-3PO and everything. Like, it's awesome and she loves it. And I'm just like, God, I wish that were me. I wish I could just like this movie, but I can't. I can't get out of my own way of being like, oh, but they're fucking, what the fuck are they doing? You know, like, because I was just so excited about what The Last Jedi was doing. Like, Rise of Skywalker just made me love The Last Jedi more and hate this movie more. Because, like, I was just so excited for what we were doing. We were doing something so cool. We were taking Star Wars in a direction that it hadn't gone before, but still being Star Wars. And this movie just felt like such a safe, like, trilogy ending, cash grabbing thing. They were like, how can we, like, check all the boxes of diversity without doing anything? How can we check all the boxes of Star Wars without doing anything? You know, like, I mean, just like, because from the beginning, like, Finn is set up to be a main character, like, from that, like, lightsaber fight at the end of the first one where he's holding the lightsaber and he's fighting Kylo Ren, and it's like, it's Finn and Rey, they are together in this, they are the main protagonists, we are doing shit with them. And then into The Last Jedi, Finn gets a little bit on the back bumper a little bit, but still the two of them, like, the A plot is Rey and the B plot is Finn, like, they're still very much important, doing things, they have goals, and then this movie just throws Finn into a garbage pile in order for Rey and Kylo to do stuff.
Into a trash compactor?
Like, they just totally throw their black protagonist away so they can focus on their white male protagonist. Like, that's what they do. And it's just...
And that's something that, like, I feel like people have started to give Last Jedi flack for this recently, especially since John Boyega has become a lot more vocal about it. But, like...
As he should be, yeah.
But, like, I don't think that the fault is on Last Jedi in this one because, like, it's true that he's not as prominent in Last Jedi as he was in Force Awakens, but they're conscientious of that, and in Last Jedi, Finn, like, has a character arc and, like, has his own thing, and it's very much, like, teeing him up to, like, step back in the future, you know? Like, I think that it's, you know, it's like a weird, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it just feels like a weird precedent to be like, this character has to be front and center 100% of the time, otherwise it's ethically wrong, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, I think that Last Jedi, you know, puts that character slightly behind some other ones, but not, like, in a way that's, like, they're, like, trying to push him aside, you know? It's just, like,
exactly.
he's not as important in this one, and he will be again later, but then he wasn't again later, is the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
also, like, in The Last Jedi, he is, like, his story arc is about loss, and, like,
Right.
like, that's the point. So it's not that he wasn't unimportant, but, like, he just, that's his learning was there is loss in things, but that doesn't mean that what you're doing isn't the right thing to do.
Right.
Which is
Yeah,
like
you have
a
to
really
take
cool
some
stepping
yeah.
stone for a story arc
Yeah.
and a character
Yeah.
growth.
Going into the final battle with someone who's like come to terms with like what losing means and like what's more important than winning, like that's interesting because you don't know someone who is so like has had that learned that lesson going into the final battle. There is that little bit of tinge of like, are they gonna lose? And in a Star Wars movie, that's something we've never had before.
Right, yeah.
Could the good guys maybe might lose this time? Because that's non-existent in Rise of Skywalker. They keep trying to pretend that Rey is struggling with the dark side of the Force, but she's not.
No,
She is
never feel
continually choosing to do the good thing. She's like, I'm a good guy, and I want to be a good guy. Why would I want to be a bad guy? I don't want to be a bad guy. So anytime she does something bad, she immediately feels bad about it, and she's like, oh no, never mind. Like, she's not struggling
it's
with
not
the dark
even
side of the
her.
Force.
It's like in the scene where she literally thinks she killed Chewbacca, and she goes, this is how this thing goes. She goes, I did a bad thing, and they're like, no, you didn't, Rey. It's okay. And then they're like, okay, let's keep going for Chewie. And that's it.
You
That's
actually
it.
you didn't do anything wrong, and it's like, yay! It's like, oh my god.
And they don't even know he's alive, and
Right.
we're like, we do know as an audience that he's alive, but it's still
Like,
not
immediately.
okay that you like, murdered everyone.
Yeah.
That's bad. That's a bad thing, and you should feel bad about it. Like that's something that you should wrestle with.
So
And,
she
like,
thinks that she killed Chewbacca, and then I guess I'm getting the scenes
Yeah.
mixed up. Does she heal the worm after she kills Chewbacca or before?
No, so she heals the worm, and they're like,
So
you're a
good,
good guy.
very
And
good.
then-
Princess
and then-
animal powers.
And then the Knights of Ren show up, and she's like, ooh, that
She's like,
Kylo Ren, and then they kidnap Chewbacca somehow. Unclear
That's right.
to
That's
me.
right.
And then he's
She
flying
does
away,
the
and then
dopest jump ever. Yeah.
which is sick, an isolated
Which
scene
is
that's
sick.
very good.
Sick.
And then
Yeah.
and Finn goes, this is one of his big moments. He goes, Rey, they got Chewie. And then she shocks, ooh, lightning. And they're like, Rey, it's not your fault. But it 100% is her fault.
Right.
100%.
100%.
But we don't get to sit in that.
I know people don't agree with me, but I think if this movie is gonna be about Rey struggling with the dark side, and even if it's the stupid reason of because Palpatine is her granddad, if it's about her struggling with the dark side, I think she should have killed Chewbacca on accident because she was just so mad at Kylo Ren and just so filled with hate that she shoots lightning and it fucking kills Chewbacca. That's drama. That's
says, fuck
evil.
you,
Like,
Chewbacca.
no, but like, just like, because we talk about like what the dark side of the Force is. When we boil down the light and the dark to good and bad, the argument of like, well, I don't want to be a good guy, or I don't want to be a bad guy. Well, then you're not a bad guy, so you're not struggling. Like, you know, like if you don't want to be a bad guy, then you're not the bad guy. But when you like, but what the prequels did when they talk about the dark side of the Force, because we're watching Anakin get sucked into it, of like what you want for the people that you love, like these emotions and like being angry, which is something you like versus the Jedi, which are very like stone cold, no emotion, which we kind of agree is an evil thing, versus like the Sith who have all this emotion and like want what you want and like you want to feel those emotions and it just turns into anger and brashness in order to get what you want. Like that's way more compelling. It makes way more sense for Rey. Like, shouldn't she kind of be like bitter and upset that she had to grow up on a desert planet by herself, like fending for herself? Like, shouldn't she be pissed about Kylo Ren and all that stuff? And shouldn't that like that anger like lead to something? Like, it's just this movie's just having no conversations about anything. They don't have a point.
Dylan in the
Like,
chat
except,
says,
ooh,
Ray
Star Wars.
Dylan in the chat says Ray should have to go to Chewbacca's house and tell his wife and kid what happened. She had to tell Lumpa-Waroo from the Christmas special that Chewbacca had died.
That would have been drama. That like just like have her actually struggle with the dark side of the Force and like what that actually means. because like what we learned in like what us like as the Star Wars fandom, and by Star Wars fandom I mean all of humanity, what we have learned like from the prequels was that the Jedi Order sucked, was bad, objectively did bad things, and was evil and not good for anybody involved in it. And the Sith, also bad, also fucked up. So to go into The Last Jedi, and we're basically like the audience basically knows that, but to like nail it down, like, yeah, these things both bad, we should start something new and like in different directions. And then to like just boil it back down to that good versus evil. It's like you're not even having a Star Wars conversation, because like we started this conversation in like the 90s. Like we know that good versus evil is boring. You have to give it meaning, and like this like cold unemotional religion does nothing versus like this emotion that's like enticing and feels like it's going to get you what you want, like is and is compelling. Like it's just they got nothing to fucking say except, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we did a bunch of callbacks to the other movies? Like that's all they have to say. It's annoying.
Take the stance that like you are not your lineage,
right?
Yeah, but then at the same time be like, oh, the only reason that Rey is evil is because she has Palpatine blood in her. That's why.
Right,
like, that's her only connection to the
only
dark
reason
side.
Rey is important is because she's Palpatine's granddaughter. But
Whereas,
also, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Anybody could be a Jedi.
Yeah, but like, also, isn't it so interesting? Like, wouldn't it be so cool to see Rey do something just completely Listen, you've had long hair before, you know what it's like. But to have like someone like Rey do something completely unforgivable, just like murdering Chewbacca, just completely unforgivable, and they forgive her anyway. Like they give her grace, and then that leads into, if you have this amount of grace and like forgiveness for someone you love, well, doesn't that mean that anyone who's struggling, wrestling with the dark side is worth redemption? Like that's what you see in the first trilogy, which I think is something that should carry over into this trilogy. That like Darth Vader, the literal embodiment of darkness,
the Prince of Darkness,
is worth redemption. Like everyone is worth redeeming. Like and that can lead into like, oh, Finn and Poe, they've been hating on like Kylo, and they keep saying that Ben Solo is dead and gone forever. But like if we showed him through the kindness of our own hearts and our light-sidedness that he's worth it, we haven't given up on him. It's only Rey. It's only ever Rey who's like, he's still good. I believe in him, because Rey has no faults except for sometimes she gets a little mad.
It's only ever Rey, and she has no reason to think that. Like in the Force Awakens, or in The Last Jedi, the reason that she thinks that is because Snoke is manipulating her. He's manipulating how naive she is and how she wants to save him, and so he's making her think that like, oh, she could do it. Oh, he could be turned to the light. Oh, he could. There is good in him. Meanwhile, Kylo Ren has been committing war crimes the whole time, never stopping. He never stops with the war crimes, and so like that's why she thinks that. And then going into the Rise of Skywalker, when basically Kylo Ren has been like, we both agreed that the Jedi and the Sith suck, but you want to try and do something good in the shell of what the Jedi used to be, and I think we just need to burn it all to the ground. So fuck you, I'm gonna do my own thing. And then for her to then go into the Rise of Skywalker and be like, he can be saved, when the only reason she thought that in the first place was because she was being manipulated, and now when he's like basically hammered in that like, no, I'm not gonna be doing what you want me to be doing, like why does she even think that? Why does she even care about him? Yeah, exactly.
I think I'm kind of cultivating a little pet theory about this movie, because I think there are a handful of things in Last Jedi that people reacted poorly to, some people reacted poorly to. Yeah. That are inherently products of Force Awakens, right? Like, at the end of Force Awakens, Luke's on the island, right? He's hidden, like, Force Awakens is already like, hey, yo, what's up? Luke hid himself away and secluded himself from the rest of the planet, because something's wrong, apparently. And everyone was like, ooh.
Looking for Jedi text.
Yeah, and everyone's like, whatever. Ooh, I wonder what's going on. And then Rian Johnson's like, yeah, here's why he did that. It's pretty much just what you would think. He's frustrated at things and wants to be left alone. People are like, what?
Yeah.
And like for some reason it turns into this thing like Last Jedi was bad
in the movie.
Yeah, but it was like this was like set up really explicitly. Like this was where he was trying to go with this. Maybe not like exactly the way it was in Last Jedi, but like generally, Like, he didn't do that for no reason.
Yeah. I think the thing about The Last Jedi, which is it is a polarizing thing, but a lot of points, not that are like super important to the story, but that like people cared about in meta context, like who are Rey's parents, who is Snoke, blah 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 blah. Like all of these things were addressed and they were subverted in a way that you did not expect.
Right.
Which is, I like, some of them I'm like, that's so rad, and some of them I'm like, I don't know about that. But it's that is a direct, like, that is 100% what was out in the verse, in the universe. But this movie does the same thing, but in like the opposite direction, where like they're like, we'll just do exactly what you want. And I think both are like, I think it's a perilous journey.
Yeah. Well, here's what I'm getting at. And another example of that is Finn, right? Like, J.J. Abrams sets up Finn, and like one of these like character traits that he has is that he's like obsessed with Rey, right? And like, and that's like obviously an element of the story, right? And you can sort of assume, like, as the story gets on, there's something he's gonna work through, and there's some tension. Maybe he'll just get with Rey, or maybe, you know, he'll learn how to move on and not be so weird about it, you know? And Rian Johnson's like, okay, so I'm going to make some progress in that direction. I'm going to give him like explicit things to do that are like him sort of like moving away from that. But I think, but those are two things that people react very negatively towards, right? Like Rose and the way Luke Skywalker reacts. And I think that J.J. Abrams is the one who is sort of doing both of those things in Force Awakens, even if the events aren't necessarily playing out in Force Awakens. If that makes any sense, right? Like, those are the seeds that he has planted.
Yeah.
So I think when those are the things that they want him to not do or, like, sort of shy away from, I think J.J. Abrams making Rise of Skywalker has to, like, rethink his own thing, right? We think about it like this is, like, and it is in some ways, like J.J. Abrams, like, going back to what he wanted to do originally after Rian Johnson did some other weird thing. But I think it's that, like, there, at least partially, there are, like, these ideas that J.J. Abrams set up that Rian Johnson expounded upon. And in a perfect world, presumably J.J. Abrams would get back in there and be like, yes, like, this is how this was meant to be. But he had to, like, chop off those things at the head, you know? And he has to be like, they all get girlfriends, I guess?
Yeah, they all get girlfriends with the exact same personality types and backstories as them.
And it's like,
girlfriends.
And that's sort of my pet theory. I think the problem is that, like, a lot of the stuff that he's having to, like, undo from Last Jedi are really kind of his own things. Yeah. And he has to think of, like, something else instead.
Yeah. And, yeah, I guess we talked about this a lot in the commentary of this weird thing where basically, so that Finn and Poe aren't gay, everybody has to get a girlfriend. And it's just weird. Like, the fact that I said this in the commentary, and I'm going to say it again, because I don't remember if it got erased to time or not, because we had difficulties, we had to start over again. But, like, I don't like how Rise of Skywalker handles the idea that there are other stormtroopers that defected or just, like, around. Because I think that's a really good idea. Like, the fact that, because my favorite scene that they deleted out of The Last Jedi is the extended scene between Finn and Captain Phasma. That extended scene is so much better than the one we got. Yeah, is so good. And, like, to the idea that, like, the First Order, like, they're not going to tell the stormtroopers that there are other stormtroopers that defected. They're trying to erase the fact that these people exist. And, like, the idea that there's any doubt in the First Order has to be eradicated. And that's, like, what a lot of that scene with Captain Phasma is.
Right.
And so to go into this and just, like, I would so much rather that they were just, like, they just, like, go somewhere. And there's somebody, like, oh, yeah, I used to be a stormtrooper. And, like, yeah, we have a connection. Like, we meet other people. And they're just there throughout the universe. And they're just regular people who are, like, out and doing things. And some of them are with the Resistance. And some of them are just trying to get away from the whole situation. Like, that's really interesting. But to just put them all on an island where we are for no reason.
Right, yeah.
And they're just like, hey, what's up? I've got the same exact backstory as you, and I'm also black. Let's date, boy. It's like, what?
Right.
What is that?
In the commentary, I compared all of the love interests that are introduced in this movie to Alvin and the Chipmunks and the Chipettes,
right.
in which they are the exact same as them, but just female. Like, they wear the exact same clothes. They have the exact same personality traits.
Right.
And for what? For why?
For what? Who wanted that? Literally nobody. They just couldn't make Finn and Poe gay. Like, that's literally the only reason that Poe's drug dealing girlfriend exists. Like, that's the only reason.
And I think it's just such a weird, Finn especially, the way that they responded to him, because I don't think his obsession with Rey in the first one is creepy or weird, because it's the first ever human being, like, Poe, who they think is dead. Like Rey is the first human being that he's ever, like, so who's trusted him, who's, like, been
had an
kind
emotional
to him.
connection.
Like, he's never experienced that before, and that's a really cool thing to start off with, is that there's this one person, and that, like, that inspires autonomy in him, and he can be his own human being. And then in the second one, it expands, and he meets other people, and there are some people that you can trust. Rose, Tico, love you. Some people you can't. Benicio del Toro, love you, but not your character. Well,
stinks real bad, stole your whole shit.
Yeah. And, like, that, like, just using that, like, self-awareness to just, like, determine, like, what is important to you, what do you think matters, and is there a way that you can use those things that matter to you to help other people, which is what we're gonna go in number 3. Like, you've learned these things and now go use them.
Yeah, exactly.
But instead,
now
they were
go
like,
be a hero. Yeah.
I think that Finn loves Rey.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's everything.
Well, in the
I didn't want to say, like, when I was talking about Finn earlier, I wasn't trying to be like, Finn's totally canceled. Like, I didn't want to be he's being creepy, but I just meant, like, like, he's singularly obsessed with the person, and he needs to learn to sort of, like,
like, he only has
the rest of everything. Yeah.
But that's that's a good place to start. It's not where you land.
Yeah, exactly.
And well, that's my whole thing, is I hate the Rey and Kylo Ren romance, because I think it comes out of nowhere. I don't think that's what we were trying to do, and I think it's because of that through line that, like, Finn is obsessed with Rey because she's, like, the first person who's ever been nice to him, and they have this relationship, like, immediately, and this chemistry, and, like, you're kind of like, oh, maybe it's romantic, maybe it's not romantic, and then you get to The Last Jedi, and we get Rose, and Rose is pretty much more explicitly romantic. Like, Rose clearly has a crush on Finn. We see that in the first scene that they meet. Like, she clearly has a crush on him. And I feel like that was kind of moving Rey, like, out of the romance potential a little bit. Like, he's obsessed with Rey, but just because she was the first person ever next to her. Like, they have a connection and they love each other. And again, it's that found family trope where he's like, I found these people that I'm willing to fight for. It's my found family. And then to go into Rise of Skywalker, and we just, like, there's none of that in that whole movie. Like, Rey and Poe and Finn barely interact, and when they do, they're, like, not having fun together. And then she goes and she kisses Kylo. Like, it doesn't feel like a found family at all. Like, all these people she has a deep connection with, and they're just thrown away for a romantic connection that I would argue doesn't even exist. I would argue it's just, like, these deep feelings that could manifest in a lot of different ways. And honestly, the way that I would have preferred was in the found family. Like, obviously I care about you and want the best for you, and I think you deserve to be saved. But that doesn't mean I have to kiss you, you fucking incel, you know? Like,
I mean, I think that, like, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I feel like I'm having, like, backlash around just the whole cultural idea of, like, I want more platonic relationships. Because, like, the more I engage, the more I think I like when people kiss in movies. It's good. And
I not to say that there shouldn't be any romantic relationships, but just the way that they handle it sucks shit. Yeah.
And I think, like, if I were writing this movie, I think I would have them, like, get together. I would obviously do it a lot differently. I maybe even think I would do a fucking Harry Potter ass, like, epilogue and just, like, show their kids or whatever. Like, I don't know, maybe that would be fun. But, like,
that would suck ass. Don't do that.
No, I think it would be great, actually.
I don't think it's terrible.
No, if you went a few months in the future and we just have, like, a fun little scene of, like, Poe and Kylo are playing space chess and they're just, like, being snippy at each other, and he's like, you cheated. He's like, you blew up half the universe. Like, that kind of thing. Where it shows, like, we're slowly like
Right.
building a relationship together after hating each other for so long, and like Rey and like Kylo does something shitty, and Rey is like, oh, you shouldn't do that anymore. These are your friends, remember? Like stuff like that. That would have been awesome. I would love to have seen them like actually have a relationship together. But because they kiss and then he fucking dies, we don't get
and
that.
And Kylo Ren dies, and
I'm picturing in my head the epilogue would be like at the end of Little Women when they have the school and you see everyone like. You see, like, Meg with her kids, and you see Amy painting, and you see Beth. No, you don't, because she's dead. Ha, I tricked you.
You tricked me. You got me.
Spoilers for Little Women.
Spoilers for this 200-year-old book.
You walk through and you see Poe, and he's like, he's got the Academy of Flying, and you see Finn, and he's teaching history because they wouldn't teach stormtroopers history. They like brainwash them, so he gets to know those things. And then you see Kylo, and he's got the spiritual things, or he's doing lightsaber stuff. He's doing lightsaber stuff, and then Rey is doing the spiritual stuff. Because that's what she struggled with in this movie. No, it's great. It's great. And then they're like, Miss. And then she's like, no, use my full name. And they're like, well, I remember it. And she's like, Rey Skywalker.
Oh my god.
Hey, you said you would do an epilogue.
I like mine better.
But yeah, I think like, I don't know. Because I think there is something really enticing. I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, Adeline, but I feel like a lot of the backlash about Kylo Ren and Rey being a thing is like the backlash to the Reylo people on the internet, And I feel like
combination
it just turned into such a thing. And I've always thought that like they can't get together because that would be abusive. Is like such a like touch grass kind of take to me, and like no, I'm not putting that.
You are putting it.
Well, no,
yeah, okay,
but that is something else I'm addressing.
Okay, gotcha.
But like, I don't know. I guess I just think like, I really feel like the Rey and Kylo Ren thing is there. I think like Last Jedi sets up a really sincere tension with it. And you could even say, like, oh, but I want them to be platonic. I think it'd be more satisfying if we're platonic. Like, fine. But, like, just being like, no, I think they shouldn't talk to each other. It's like, I feel like you just want to say something different. I don't know.
I think my hang-up, it's a combination of things. I never had, like, I know a lot of people had, like, confrontations with Reylo people who are just, like, crazy, and it just, like, ruined it for them. Like, I never had one of those. Like, I always heard about them, but I was like, fucking whatever. I don't like that ship. Moving on. But, like, it's because this movie was so reactionary, and it's because of the people who didn't like Last Jedi were all, not all of them, but there was a good amount of them that were all like the misogynistic racist, like Rey shouldn't be a Jedi, why the fuck is Rose here? Like it was that kind of person that then, as an answer to that, then got Rey and Kylo kissing. It's the fact that it's like all those things together makes that just like so much grosser to me. Like, you did that because that guy wanted it, and I fucking hate that guy, like, it just, like, ruined the whole thing for me, And, like...
Fair. I think that this is more like it... I'm gonna bring up The Legend of Korra again. I've just been thinking about it a lot lately.
Yeah.
Because this is a spoiler for The Legend of Korra, by the way, where Korra and Asami get together at the end, and a lot of people are like, that came out of nowhere. Where did that come from? And I think that like they were obviously very like a little more subtle about it because oh no, the LGBT not in our children programming.
We can't forget. Yeah.
But I think like if you say that, like it's fair if you say there wasn't enough for me, but you can't say it wasn't there because it was. Like if you go back, you're like, this is them flirting. This is them like leaning on each other. This is them like isolating each other as more special than other people.
Right.
So like if there like it's fair if you say there wasn't enough, but you can't say like there wasn't anything and it came out of nowhere and it was just reactionary because if it like
I do think it's there. I think the like politics around the movies ruined it a little bit for me, but it's also just like I do think that there is a way that they could have done it well, and I would have liked it. But because this is the version that we got, I just like can't see it anymore. You know, I feel like they just ruined the idea for me because what we got was so unsatisfying, and because it's the conclusion too, the conclusion to like all those little bits and pieces that could have come together into something like concrete and real, and the fact that all those little bits and pieces came together just like form a little pile at the end of the movie that then fell apart, like the fact that the ending of it was so unsatisfactory, I feel like it diminishes all the little pieces and then also diminishes what we got. Like it just like I agree with you, there absolutely could have been a movie where they did it well and it felt good and it felt right for them to have a romantic relationship, but because they just tripped at the finish line, it just I just can't see it anymore.
I don't think
any
anyone
of
was
us
arguing that it was good in this movie because it wasn't.
Yeah. Would you have liked it better if they had just platonically hugged and then he died?
Yeah,
actually,
yeah. Well, because
she's
to
like,
say that they
thanks, Ben.
and then he died. Because to just like hug and hold each other, yeah. Well, like at the end of We Love, at the end of Rogue One, where they're just holding each other as the world ends, like that. I feel like you could have had something of the same energy, but different. Like, of course, but different. But like they're just exhausted, and so much has fucking happened, and they don't know what's going on, and they're just there together, and to just like hug and embrace what like in that kind of like victory moment, I think would have been awesome, but. Like, and even if she, like, pulled away a little bit and then kind of realized that she was dead in his arms, I think also would have been a moment. But then to just... The fact that they kiss, and the fact that... I don't remember who it was. Was it J.J. Abrams that said it was a kiss of relief, not a romantic kiss?
It was just in the novelization. It was just a weird choice of words by whoever wrote that.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid. That's not a thing that's ever happened. But, like, it's just, like, to have them just, like, kiss and then he dies, it's just so... unsatisfying and stupid. Like, I feel like I wouldn't have minded the kiss as much if he lived afterwards, because then at least you could do like and then afterwards they have a rapport and a relationship, and you're like, okay, even if I didn't like that moment, it led to something more concrete, you know. But because we end on that moment that I don't like, it's bad.
I don't want to talk about this anymore. What I do want to talk about is Babu.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get into the Babu zone.
Oh,
welcome to the Babu zone.
You guys, I love Babu Frick so much.
He's so great.
I think
just a little guy.
He's just the perfect, like, if you were gonna do a crash course of Star Wars, like what makes Star Wars 101?
Yeah.
Like Babu Frick is just a glorious example of like what Star Wars
guy.
Yeah, that's Star Wars, baby. Now that's what I call Star Wars.
Yes.
You're like, it's just like the perfect concoction of like, he's a little tiny guy, but he does like crazy mechanical stuff, and he goes and he sounds like this. He's like, oh,
Babu.
Babu, and he's like, you're back.
It's so good.
He goes. Yeah, like it's so Star Wars. It's so Star Wars.
And Dio,
Dio.
I
am
astonished at how much I loved Dio instantly, and I'm kind of mad
he's there for like 2 seconds.
And I'm kind of mad that nobody told me about him, because he's a cute little boy, and whenever he's like so scared and anxious all the time, and whenever anybody tries to touch him, he goes, "No, thank you." It's great.
So good.
It's incredible.
It's so good.
Like.
I know.
It's so perfect. He's like the perfect little Star Wars boy, and I love him very much.
And he has a little unique shape.
Yeah.
Like, you haven't really seen that.
He's got his own shape language.
I've said this before, I love sad robots that don't have faces. That is like a quintessential thing for me.
Jackson staple.
I think of, like, Dio is obviously a perfect example.
Again, I love sad robots with no face.
Yeah, but I think of Bastion from Overwatch. I think of the Laputa robots from Castle in the Sky. Like, sort of weird, melancholy robots that are not especially capable of expressing themselves, but you can still kind of feel their weird sadness even despite that.
Great. He does have a face, but what about TikTok from Return to Oz? How do you feel about him?
See, I mean, you know, he's batting 50%. It's all right in my book.
I know, but he's so melancholy.
He's very melancholy.
I want to talk about Return to Oz on this.
We gotta do it eventually.
Why do I not remember who the fuck TikTok is? Who is that?
He's the robot that's like.
He's like a big brass. He looks like a boiler.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's like,
and they like
he looks
have
like a
to
gas
wind him
pump
up.
kind of.
Yeah.
He's got like the round head. I remember TikTok.
Yeah, and
now.
he like so like you have to wind him up for like movement, wind him up for thinking, wind him up for whatever.
That's
and then
right.
so at one point
do you
he's
remember? Do you remember the roller skating bad guys from the beginning of Return to Oz?
Kicks ass.
What the fuck was up with that?
I remember everything. That movie.
I remember every moment.
I forced you to watch that movie because it's
You
so
did.
locked into
You
this
didn't
noggin.
force us to watch it. You said, "Do you want to watch Return to Oz?" And we said, "Yeah." That
I
sounds
said we
fun."
have to watch Return to Oz. There's no option. It's required. It's requisite.
It's required viewing. Yeah.
And like, I don't know. By the way, Dylan asked what I was doing on Discord a minute ago, and I don't know what that means. And I've just been thinking about it the whole time. I just need to address it. Did you just?
It said there was a Jepper Pack notification.
Where? What?
What did you do?
It said
Jackson?
Jepper Pack joined something or other.
On the Discord server?
Yeah.
Did
This
you
is
join
good.
the Discord server again or something?
This is really good.
It's good
with-
content.
Yeah, it says, "Welcome Jepper Pack. We hope you brought pizza." And it is your face. But I don't know.
Welcome,
Maybe you
Jep-
gotta.
Yeah.
Someone hacked ya.
I
Oh
know.
no!
I mean, I'm not hacked.
Oh
Why did that
no!
happen? And now I'm
It's-
looking at the rules section, and that
It's in the welcome.
is edited.
6?
Welcome,
Question mark,
Jepper
question mark,
Pack.
question mark.
You've still got the little crown next to you. Is there another? Oh, there's 2 Jepper packs. One is offline.
Yeah. Someone hacked ya.
What's going on here?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Jackson,
Oh, no,
they're
no.
gonna start saying racist things.
I hope not.
Watch out. They're not
Hold on.
on
I'm sorry.
right
I know
now,
we're
so-
streaming.
I mean, it's
but
not
let
like.
me just check this out real quick because I have no idea what's going
Yeah,
on.
hold on. Sorry.
Oh, no.
It's no good. It's no good.
Also, someone. I don't use Discord. I don't really know how. I'm only friends with you guys and my cousins, but someone's just sent me a friend request. So she's moving up in the world.
Hold on. It does appear to be a different person because they've got a different numbers.
You should report
yeah.
them.
Yeah, I should kick
must
this
be.
person off the server for
Now.
sure.
What
Yeah.
the F?
What's going on? And I also got a message.
Good catch,
from somebody,
everybody.
I also got a message from somebody named Shrimp Son Boy.
Sin boy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just DMing me saying
Samesies.
hi.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just a regular fan who's just happening to swoop in at just the wrong time, but I am suspicious.
At the
of
wrong
them.
time, we're all gonna think they're a bot.
Sus.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It is sus.
It's quite
But
sus.
Shrimpson Boy is a good name. I like it.
Yeah, well, they
You
need
guys-
to clear their name right now.
I'm okay. I'm
It's
gonna
about to be a
show my
witch hunt.
age. I'm gonna show my age, but what is the whole Baka thing about Among Us? I don't
It
understand
means
that.
stupid. It's an anime. I don't know if it actually means stupid in
It is another
Japanese,
person.
but it's like an anime thing.
It's definitely another
Yes.
person because
I assumed as much.
their little icon, it's clearly a screen grab of my icon because you can see the little corner of the green circle in it. So this person's getting
Oh yeah, you should
fucking
report them into the
bull-
infamous server.
See
Obliterate
who's
them.
inventing-
ban.
But yeah, so baka is like an anime thing. I don't know if it actually means stupid in Japanese, but you like if you call someone stupid, you call them baka. You're a
this out.
baka. You're baka.
Check
It's
this out.
stupid.
But what it? I don't
Ban.
know. But what?
Ban. Done.
What is it? Why is it like an Among Us thing? I don't
Try harder
understand
next
that.
time.
It's because there was okay, so on TikTok there was like this joke sound and it's like these funny voices and these calls them a sussy baka. I don't know. I
Okay.
don't know if that was the original thing or if it was a joke about another thing, but that's where I know it from, where they just like you're because
Gotcha.
we had sus and then we had sussy and then that
Yeah.
turned into sussy baka. So now like baka is a Among Us word now. I don't know.
Okay. I've been just playing along politely when people talk about it because
Uh-huh.
I don't want them to think I'm old, but I was like, I really don't know what this means. I could like use
Yeah.
context clues, but like it just popped up out of
Yeah.
nowhere.
Well, because it
but
used to
just
be
super
like the
quick-
anime trope of like babaka, and that was like a thing, and then but that
Gotcha.
like disappeared in 2013. But now it's resurfaced as an Among Us thing. It's weird. I don't know.
if the person named Jepperpack on the server just now was just like a person doing a fun little bit. Like, sorry, like just get at me and maybe I'll let you back in the server. But don't do that again. Like,
yeah, because what if you just messed up everything? Like, that would have been bad.
Because identity theft is not a joke, Jim.
This is just weirding me out. Like, who's trying to like steal my identity? This podcast has like 8 listeners. Like, what's that?
There's like 20 people in the Discord tops.
Yeah.
What if this was like a strange lead-in for Adeline to do like a creepypasta or something? If you look out the window.
Oh my god. Why didn't they edit your picture to have black eyes? Why didn't they do that? Come on.
Or just an inverted picture of you.
Speaking of, should we get to the second half of that Pokemon Snap?
Have we said all that could be said about Rise of Skywalker?
I'm done talking about it. I don't care anymore.
If you listen to this podcast and you were like, I wish they talked about this specific scene, go check out the commentary track that we did. It should be in your Apple podcast
I wonder if they
feed.
talked about this for another 2.5 hours separately from this.
We did. Surprise. Maybe they talked about for an hour, then fucked up, and then a week later talked about for another hour. That's what the commentary is. You should check it out. We have some good takes. But if you're like, I want just a little bit more Rise of Skywalker, go check out the commentary in your podcast feed.
Babu Frick is the perfect landing pad for us. Babu Frick is good.
He's a safe home. Always a safe space to land. Babu
we
Frick.
like to end on positivity here. I say Babu Frick is the perfect way to positively end our talk. Oh, we didn't even talk about Carrie Fisher.
Talking about Rise of Skywalker.
Oh yeah, because apparently they spliced her in from outtakes from Force Awakens.
Yeah.
And that's bad, but
it's
whatever.
Weird.
It's just unfortunate.
And is also most likely one of the most major reasons that the script is so fucked up, right? Because it's clear they wanted to do a lot of Leia stuff and then they just couldn't and they had to start over.
Yeah, which is they just were never set up for success to begin with. Like it's just always going to be a challenge, and they did not rise.
It was always going to be a little bit off. Yeah, like that's definitely a challenge of like a very important character in your series is not going to be able to be in it. Figure it out. Like I feel like, but I also feel like they could have done better, and they didn't. But it's a challenge.
They could have done the Riverdale thing. They could have done a quarterback episode. They could have figured it out.
Always do what Riverdale is. If you have the opportunity to do anything that Riverdale did, do it.
I don't know if anyone who watches this or listens to this also watches Glee, but the quarterback episode of Glee really gets to me all the time. It makes me sad just more than most things. But I feel like in the future after that episode, because Corey Monteith like tragically passed away right before they started filming season 5, but when they like still talk about Finn, different spelling, like he's like he is not alive, but like he's still a character, you know, like they don't just erase him or like awkwardly pretend that he's like somewhere else. Like they just give his character like a decent amount of respect, which I feel like they don't do with Leia. It's just weird that Glee did that better than Star Wars. That's all.
Okay. Adeline, do you want to do a funny bit where you pretend like something scary is happening to you?
Guys, somebody joined the Discord chat and their name is Jackson, but it's spelled with an X. And their profile picture, the eyes are like black and they're like bleeding. And they said the N-word and Jackson's gonna get canceled on Twitter now. The real creepypasta is cancel culture, you guys.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome to part 2 of Creepypasta Book Club. Do you remember that amazing Pokemon Snap creepypasta from last week? What if it was like half as much still in that creepypasta? What if there was more of it? And we're here to answer that question for you.
So previously on this Pokemon Snap themed creepypasta, this kid really likes Pokemon Snap and has a lot of strong feelings about some other Nintendo 64 games. And has a friend with a lot of appliances. They have.
And Wi-Fi.
And he does have Wi-Fi.
Incredible how this creepypasta, so much of it was just like if you don't know anything about Pokemon Snap, let me just give you a 5-minute synopsis of
describing
He
what Pokemon
described
Snap
the
is.
mechanics to you. Yeah.
So you're driving around and you're taking pictures of Pokemon. If you don't know what Pokemon they are pocket monsters they are different animals. And here's what a Pokemon trainer does. Anyway, so you're taking pictures of them. Anyway, so here's the creepypasta.
So here's what it's like. We were approximately 2,000 words into it, and we got bored, so we had to stop. And literally, where I'm about to pick up, he is about to put the cartridge in the machine.
Is where the creepypasta starts.
It's like black or something. Yeah. Black and slimy or something like that.
It's like slimy or something. His little sister got covered in slime or something.
So yeah, sincerely, like a kid found an old copy of Pokemon Snap. It was always weird. It has some black on the inside or something creepy, and he puts it in and he turned it on. Here we are. So the load screen came up, and the upbeat theme song and camera flashes were playing, just as they did earlier at my friend's house. It was then that I noticed several visual distortions, which I thought were due to cartridge damage. There were
because it was covered in slime.
There were 3 purple vertical streaks a few inches wide that went all the way down the screen. And one on each edge and one down the middle. They were darker in the middle of the streaks, but you could see past them somewhat. I didn't mind that much. It was only a minor inconvenience. My prediction is that happened to this person in real life. And that's when they were like, wouldn't it be so scary if it was haunted after that? That's just my...
What if it was scary?
That's my personal opinion.
That's your fan theory?
Because that's the sort of thing that can happen to a TV sometimes. And I bet that happened to this guy.
Scary?
Why do you need to talk about the streaks in such vivid detail?
I know.
Why couldn't she just say purple streaks?
They were a little dark in the middle, but you can still see them. They're slightly opaque.
Okay.
There was 3 of them, one in the middle, one on the left, and another one, you guessed it, on the
center
right.
stage, baby!
Next, I pressed start, and to my surprise, I found that there was no continue option. I guess my saves had been deleted by a battery failure. All those hours and hours of hard work and completion were gone. Oh well, I probably would have started a new file.
Oh, hold on. How long did it take this person to beat Pokemon Snap? How many hours did it take them to beat Pokemon Snap?
I mean, I don't know. You're just flexing, I guess. If it doesn't take you that long.
They've been flexing
for
like
4 levels in that game.
Yeah. I started the new game, and more strange things began to occur. You're gonna love this, Adeline. I found myself in Oak's lab. His features were changed. His eyes were black with no pupils, and he had a stern look on his face. That, coupled with the purple distortion that ran along his left half, made him very disturbing.
He's got Kylo Ren scars.
All the text and dialogue was normal, but the pre-recorded bits I mentioned earlier were distorted. They came out slowly at a low pitch. I was reminded of the demon voices from early shooters like Doom. But other than these things, which I attributed to cartridge damage, the gameplay was normal. Or so
this guy
I
sneaks
thought.
in another. If this guy sneaks in another pop culture reference, I'm gonna kill him in real life.
All of this was starting to make
my favorite video game, Doom.
All of this was starting to make me a bit uneasy, but I was a man of science. I didn't believe in ghosts or God.
He said
or
was
hell.
past tense.
And
wow,
pride
you
in...
should listen to the beginning of our podcast.
Okay. I didn't believe in ghosts or God or hell, and prided myself in overcoming the irrational fears that many others suffered from. Oh, to be young again.
Oh my god.
I went to the first course, the beach.
I hope it's God. I hope God is the slimy cartridge.
God is the slime.
God was the slimy cartridge all
you
along.
sinner!
I went to the first course, the beach. There were more visual distortions. All the Pokemon had no pupils, just pure black eyes. Also, on the ground underneath where the Pokemon sprites were, not called sprites in a 3-dimensional game, just a heads up.
Well, so fuck this kid.
You know more than they do.
Also on the ground beneath where the Pokemon sprites were, there was a purple ring. It appeared even under the flying Pidgeys. The other distortion here was that the sky was a light green and there was no clouds or sun. The movements of the Pokemon
Real life
seemed unnatural and cold, like they were afraid of something. I played through the course, but as I took pictures, the Pokemon that were in the frame disappeared. Slightly concerned by this, I didn't take pictures of Pokemon that wouldn't count until later, such as Snorlax or Chansey. As I approached the exit gate, I turned around and saw one of the circles that indicated a Pokemon there was following me, but there was no sprite. I snapped a picture and was taken back to the lab. I selected all the pictures for the Pokemon report, but strangely, the last picture I took was not there. The rating process went as normal, but at the end, Oak said, "Nice work harvesting." There was a brief pause, and then he said, "You let it in, didn't you?" "Well, you know what that means. Get to the tunnel." This is my bad Professor Oak voice.
It's better if Professor Oak said all of that, and then at the very end, he, like, winked. He was like, you know what that means?
The tunnel.
Get to that
tunnel.
Oh,
you let it in, didn't you?
You let it in, didn't you?
To the tunnel.
I assumed that he was referring to the tunnel course, but actually he was referring to his butthole. I assumed that he was referring to the tunnel course, so I went to the map, and it was now available. So apparently he was referencing the tunnel course. I don't know why he had to say that he assumed that that was what he was referencing. Okay.
And he went, I was right. I did assume correctly.
As I entered the course, I noticed that I now had all the tools. The apple, the pasture ball, the pokeflute, and the engine. I went through the course and found that it had the same visual distortion as the beach. At the end, I tossed an apple at the electrode by the rocks, and the path to the volcano opened up. This is like equal parts walkthrough of Pokemon Snap and creepypasta.
Seriously.
The electrode, the electrode looked like it was in extreme agony, not like the comical explosions seen before. It seemed to be begging for help. As the traveling cutscene took place, I saw the purple ring with no sprite again. It followed me. Strangely. Strangely is just its own sentence.
Weirdly.
Menacingly. There was no cut back to the lab after discovering the course like it was supposed to. It took me straight to the volcano level. A quick survey of the area showed that the visual distortions were getting worse. As I moved forward, the Ponytas and Rapidashes were running. No Ponytas in Pokemon Snap, dickhead. There's only Rapidashes.
Idiot.
I love Ponyta, though. My fave Pokemon.
Play a different game then, because he's not in here.
You think enough to flood your stupid creepypasta with all these details that you know? You don't even know that.
You don't even know that Ponyta's not in it? Okay.
You can't tell the difference between a Ponyta and a Rapidash?
Idiot.
As I moved forward, the Ponytas and Rapidashes were running, then jumped into the lava and gave off low-pitched screams. All the Pokemon did this as I approached.
That happens in Jurassic World, the one that was the sequel,
right?
Whatever it's called, Fallen Kingdom.
Fallen Kingdom. That movie,
except it's water.
It's pretty good, and I stand by that.
We might disagree on that
movie. Is kind of the best Jurassic Park sequel, and I stand by that.
Jackson made me watch it for the podcast, and I didn't like it.
It's pretty good. They go to the mansion at the end, remember?
I like the mansion stuff. I don't like it.
They have another super dinosaur. We made a big murder dinosaur, and then something bad happened.
But I don't care because it was bad the first time, and then it was good the second time, so I don't mind that they're doing something again.
I disagree. I think it was like fine the first time, and the second time I was like, why would they do this?
Why are they doing it a second time?
Maybe we need to revisit on the third one. Maybe we need to revisit Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom on the podcast. Relitigate that.
What about the part where they're in the big hamster ball and then the T-Rex? Oh no.
Cool. It's good.
Okay.
So all the Pokemon run into the lava and
jump
die.
into the lava.
Yes. As one does.
I finally reached the egg, which blocked the path. You were supposed to throw an apple at it so you can proceed, but I found that my tools were gone. This was problematic. That egg was so canceled.
Wait till Twitter hears about this.
This was problematic, and I took this opportunity to get some dinner.
Respect. I respect that.
Mom said it was spaghetti night.
I didn't pause the game because there was no need to. When I got back, I saw the purple ring again. It was in place, motionless behind me. I also saw something else coming from the distance. It was an electrode from the tunnel, rolling down the path. This electrode must have been the one I blew up, as it had a look of anger and revenge in its eyes. I could do nothing to get away.
Is he gonna get killed by the Electra?
I could do nothing to get away, so I sat and watched. As soon as it hit me, it exploded, which caused my buggy to flip on its side and go top down into the lava. A travel-like cutscene played, but it was slow with distorted audio. The low-pitched screams of the flailing, burning Todd were heard. I was back in the lab, and Oak looked angry. He said, "You let it get to you, didn't you? Well, you only have yourself to blame." The screen faded to black, and the course selection screen came up. Oak was standing alone, and the only option on the screen was Hell, which was spelled with 3 L's.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That's how
Yes.
cool kids spell hell.
Aw, hell yeah, dude.
The
HE triple hockey sticks.
I can afford the 3rd hockey stick. It's in the budge.
The go back option was gone, so I had no choice but to click on it.
No.
There was no way I was stopping it now. The camera zoomed in on the charred corpse of Todd. Its bottom half was under the upside down buggy. Everything was ultra realistic, and this was on a pedestal of stone in an endless sea of fire and lava. All of the Pokemon I had taken pictures of and made disappear were floating in the lava, screaming in low-pitched voices. Suddenly there was a camera flash. The screen swung to a demonic figure with a camera taking pictures of the corpse. After he had had a few pictures, he curb-stomped Todd's head and took more pictures. That is the most 14-year-old shit I've ever heard in my entire life. Holy shit. Curb stomped Todd's head.
Poor Todd.
Oh,
Oh
Todd.
my
After he
God.
was burnt. And, is this Invincible or something like that?
Okay, where was I? Everything was ultra realistic. Taking pictures of the corpse.
Todd got curb stomped.
Got curb stomped.
Then a low-pitched demonic "say cheese" came out of the speakers, and my whole room lit up for a second. That scared the shit out of me. I was scared by this.
That part was scary. If you don't know what being scared is, it's a feeling that you get when...
Okay, that scared the shit out of me. And when it was over, the screen was dead black and the system was shut off. I hit reset because I knew it was just a game and couldn't hurt me. That stuff was pretty sick.
Pokemon Snap's just like...
He said, that stuff was pretty sick, but I had seen worse on the internet. I wanted to see what happened next. As it came on the screen, the menu came up, and the only option was to view the album. I hit A, and immediately wished I hadn't.
Why?
I lost my place, sorry. Immediately...
I didn't.
The album was filled...
I didn't pause the game because there was no need to. I hit A because I didn't have any other options. This is why.
Because the video game told me to.
I wasn't worried. You want to know why? Because it's a video game, dummy.
It's not real.
Okay.
You know what is
but
real?
why-
The internet.
But what I don't know why is why did you immediately regret that you
Yes.
hit the button or whatever?
The album was filled with hundreds of photos, all of horrific torture and mutilation scenes. Many of these pictures involved children. These photos were not in 64-bit, but appeared to be authentic scanned photos.
In
At this
32-bit.
At this point,
4K graphics.
4K.
I kind of do wish it was in 64-bit.
Yeah, that would be scarier, right? Okay.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
At this point, I was overcome with nausea, but it got worse. The game force-scrolled to the end and zoomed to the final picture. It was the picture I had taken of the purple ring without a sprite, only now there was something above it. It was a picture of my dead body floating a foot off the ground. The sickest part was that there was a camera jammed through my head. The screen faded to black. I was so terrified by the whole event that I broke the cartridge in two and ditched it in 2 different dumpsters behind restaurants on opposite ends of town. A few days later, I asked my mom if she had done something to my Pokemon Snap game.
Dude.
Was that you,
Mom?
Mom?
Are you pranking me? Mom, did you put tortured porn in my Pokemon Snap?
Scanning the mutilated children into my Pokemon game.
I didn't know you knew how to mod in Nintendo 64 cartridges, Mom.
And the cartridge too. Wow.
Wait, why did you make all of the Ponytas run into the lava?
Okay.
But you, Mom, know those are my favorite. I love the Ponitos.
Oh, I like how you say ponita as if it's like a Spanish word.
Yeah, Ponytas.
Okay.
Ponitas.
Oh, yes, she said. When we moved here, I was carrying that box down to the basement, and it fell out and broke. When I went to pick it up, I found that it had fallen into a crack in the crawl space. I couldn't find it. I'm sorry about not telling you, but I thought you had outgrown that game anyway. A look of shock must have come to my face because my mom asked what was wrong. What was that?
That game's for fucking scrubs, honey. You're not playing TF2.
You're an MLG
You're an
now.
adult. You're MLG. Fucking God.
A look of shock must have come to my face because my mom asked me what was wrong. Nothing, I said. I'm fine. I decided not to tell her. A week has passed, and I am bringing my story to the internet in the hopes that it may help someone else, or at least entertain. Okay, weird.
Weirdo. You're a weirdo.
I do apologize for the length. At least he apologized.
He did apologize. Sorry I explained all of the mechanics to Pokemon Snap. My B.
But, you know, in my defense, you're a noob and you don't know how Pokemon Snap works. I need to explain it to you.
Yeah, come on. You don't know what Wi-Fi is?
I do apologize for the length, but I feel that the details are necessary. What scares me the most is not the photographs of the mutilation or my dead self. What scares me the most is whatever the hell is in my basement that can make a broken game into something so gruesome. Thank God I'm moving out soon. The end.
Away.
He's moving away, so I don't know. No skin off my back.
California. Oh, it's so Jackson, next time we move into a house, it could be that house.
It could be that one.
At least
It could be the Pokemon Snap house.
Like, what if at least that ended, it was like a letter to the person who moved into the house.
That would
and
be
they're
a
like,
good
I'm
twist.
so sorry. I'm so sorry, like, but this is your problem now. I gave you all of these details, so hopefully,
gave
like,
you all the
you'll know.
clues.
Never play,
Yeah,
never
Mr.
leave a
Policeman.
broken video game in your basement.
Yeah,
Don't do it.
if there's a slimy cartridge, I'm telling you, it's not my mom.
Get
It was
in
actually
It's not my mom. My
It
mom
wasn't my
didn't
mom's
do
fault.
it.
science. As a man of science, I know that was not.
I don't
something a
believe
mom
in
could
hell.
do.
He doesn't believe
I don't-
in God or hell or whatever.
or whatever.
Okay, first of all, the demon will A, fix the thing that you broke, and B, theme their haunting around said video game, which I
Right,
think
yeah.
is a really nice level of polish. I mean,
Yeah.
really, Nintendo does what Demon don't. Like, really.
Or Demon does what Nintendo don't.
Exactly, yeah, they can go above and beyond.
I think that I appreciate, I feel like this one was scarier than others because this guy knows that there just being a monster that kills you at the end is not scary. I feel
It's
like
not
he at least
scary.
understands
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
Like, he leaves it a little ambiguous. He leaves it kind of open, lets you fill in the cracks with the imagination. A lot of the other
It's
ones
like,
where
oh,
we
it's a
read are just
demon.
like, there's a guy, and he's got no face, and he's really tall, and he
Yeah.
knocked on my
he's
window,
got
and I
long
was
fingers.
so scared, and then he killed me. And you're like, that was not scary.
And then I turned around and he was right behind me. Oh my
Right.
And then the story ends, and it's like he was behind you.
But Adeline, this one was
Mhm.
a true banger. Whatever you did to find that one, that's what you gotta do from now on.
She was
Gotcha.
a slow
I
burn,
think-
but she got there.
She delivered.
She paid off. I do think that as good as like some of these, just like ones that are obviously just like somebody writing a creepypasta, like thinking of a monster, as like fun as some of those are.
Right.
Something that's just so 13 years old about writing it about something that you love, like Pokemon
Right,
Snap.
yeah.
Like clearly this person loves Pokemon Snap,
Yeah.
and clearly they are 13 years old, and that's just perfect.
I so sincerely believe that the impetus of this was just that he started up his old cartridge and his TV was kind of broken and there were some purple lines on it and he was like, I'm inspired by this. It's like, this would be...
Crank
didn't do anything in the story.
I don't think
that was hell spelled with 3 L's.
because he doesn't believe in Hell, but there is definitive proof of Hell.
Hell. Or was it the mark of the beast? 3 of them.
I didn't remember to find a review for Rise of Skywalker.
I mean, I think we gave our own scathing review, so you can find one if you want. But
can you just start to do your plugs? If I don't have one by the time you're done, we can just move on.
We'll just end the podcast forever.
Thank you so much for listening. We really do just love Rise of Skywalker around here. It's a fan favorite.
Love it.
If you liked Rise of Skywalker for some reason, or if you didn't, let us know in the comments below.
I mean, but who doesn't? That's not even anybody. Am I right?
I found a perfect one immediately. Continue.
If you haven't liked the video, like the video. If you haven't commented yet, give us a comment. If you haven't subscribed, why aren't you subscribed? We do this every week. You don't want to miss out. Ring that bell.
Ring that bell. I do want to do a little call of action. If you guys listen to, I know a lot of people. We have our streams every Friday, and I know some people listen to that, and I know some people watch it on YouTube. So, like, subscribing, writing comments, awesome. If you listen to the podcast on, like, Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever, like, rating us and giving us a review is, like, would mean the world to us. Because, honestly, that's how Apple Podcasts is going to recommend us to other people. That's what's going to make me feel really happy and loved that somebody wrote something nice about my podcast on Apple Podcasts, like, that kind of stuff. Would go super far for us. If
you don't want a demon to superimpose itself into one of your games and send you to Hell, I would suggest, I would recommend.
This isn't a threat. It's a warning. I
would recommend you leave a review, and a positive one at that.
By the way, I wanted to say this at the beginning, but I forgot. Starting at the beginning of June, we are going to be transitioning to only streaming on Twitch. Right now, we stream on both simultaneously, but starting 2 weeks from now, we're going to go Twitch exclusive. Because, I mean, for a lot of different reasons, I don't need to get into it, but the way we're gonna do it, we'll still have the video, we'll still have the VODs, the like, saved version of the stream on YouTube that same day. Basically what we're going to do is we're still going to stream it to YouTube, but just keep it private and then unprivate it when we're done. So it's like a VOD that just exists on YouTube immediately. But from now on, we're trying to consolidate, and we think that Twitch is a better place for us as far as recommendations and algorithms and such go. So
it's not a good place to stream. I don't think anybody else streams on YouTube.
No, it's not really. And it's hard. People don't really get notified on YouTube. YouTube doesn't recommend your content. It's a lot of stuff, but we're giving you fair warning that
you got plenty of time to download Twitch.
Dylan said he's gonna get a Twitch. Yeah. Thank you, Dylan.
And I'm sorry, I know you guys. I know we've always been on YouTube. I know that's sort of been our platform of choice for listeners, but it's gonna be the same, right? Like, you have to click on a different website, but it's going to be the same, you guys.
It'll be easier because it'll be the same link over and over again.
Exactly, and there's only one link you have to share. You can just go to the same place every single time. You don't have to try to coordinate where it's going to be. It's just going to be a bazillion times
we'll keep it easily accessible from our Discord.
True.
Exactly.
If you haven't
Twitch
joined our
is so
Discord,
much better at notifying you when people are streaming, you know? So, like, I don't see who's losing. I don't know why I'm so defensive about it, but that's just the truth.
We don't have to justify ourselves.
So we'll say that again next week, but starting in June, it's all Twitch all the time, baby.
We'll post it on the Twitter again. We'll post it on Discord again. You should join our Discord if you're not part of our Discord, because sometimes we're busy people. Sometimes our schedules get mixed up. We'll let you know if, like, we're streaming on a Thursday, like we are today, or we're streaming like 30 minutes early or 30 minutes late, stuff like that. Good to get to know that stuff on Discord and stuff like that.
And I'll also say that next week our episode is very exciting. We're going to be talking about Cruella with Cosmonaut Meg. She's coming back
the day it comes out.
So
I'm excited for Meg, but I'm not excited about the movie.
It's getting pretty good buzz right now. Have you heard?
I don't know.
I don't want it.
Because
I don't want it.
They're actually letting critics see it ahead of time. And all the critics are like,
that's brave.
And all the critics are like, this is kind of fun. This is kind of a good time. So, who's to say?
Yeah.
There was one last thing I wanted to say before we got to the end of it. Twitch.
He has to say all of our Twitters though.
Oh.
I don't know which way to point in order to be playing.
VODs will still be on YouTube.
Done.
And I guess that's it.
We love you.
And we love you. And tell your dad I said hi.
Do tell your dad I said hi.
We're all migrating together. No one's getting left behind.
Nobody's getting left behind.
Or forgotten. Ohana means
or forgotten.
Okay, Twitters are Jepperpack, that's me. Hollaback Horse, that's Adeline. Keisha doesn't have one, but you can follow the No Nerds Allowed account at No Nerds Allowed. Because she runs it. That's her Twitter, basically.
Yeah.
And you said join the Discord server, and you should join the Discord server. It's very good in there.
Yeah.
But don't impersonate me when you do it. Just a word of advice.
New rule.
You.
Don't impersonate Jackson, but feel free to talk about all the fruit you'd like to.
Yes.
All the fruit you can.
Galore.
You can only hold on. You can only impersonate Jackson if you do a creepypasta twin version of Jackson. Yeah. That's the only copying of Jackson that's allowed.
If I'm like bleeding out of my eyes and the little icon, then I'll let you stick around
inverted
for a while.
And your name is like Evil Jackson.
Yeah, but if you start saying the N-word after that, I will still ban you. Just a fair warning.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that goes for everybody.
Yeah. Then maybe this is not the right server for you.
Okay.
I think you're watching the wrong podcast.
So, would you guys like to hear a 5-star review of Rise of Skywalker?
Oh, I would love to.
Yes. I actually am intrigued.
Okay, so this comes from Letterboxd. And I'll just say it, this review is from Beyonce. The username is just Beyonce, so I can only assume it is her.
Oh, Miss Carter.
This person says, 2.5 stars are for whenever Daisy Ridley appears. The other 2.5 stars are for Daisy Ridley's armpit shots. That shit is nice. That's it.
I've never hated a comment or a review more in my entire life. Thank you.
Adeline has died.
That is just the worst thing I've
ever heard. I went on Letterboxd and I sorted by highest first. That was literally the first one that came up.
Oh my god.
Literally first option. I was
you really think...
Got it. We're good.
I don't think anyone's armpit is worth 2.5 stars. That's 50%.
That's a lot of,
Yeah, it is bad.
She's a beautiful woman. Why that, though?
You know, to each their own, I guess.
Just normal.
Anyway, my name's Jackson McMurray.
My name's Allie McMurray.
My name is Keisha Rhodes.
And this continues to be No Nerds Allowed. Keep it salty out there, sailors.
I don't...
Keep it going.
I'm not a fan of that.
I really don't care what you think. I don't care what you're a fan of.
I know I'm outvoted. I know I'm the minority here. I'm okay with it.
Maybe don't say that. That seems weird.
I'm in the minority here. I know. I'm the only person of color represented in the podcast. Okay.
It's a wrap on Jackson, folks.
Who really was the Jackson impersonator all this time?
Oh no! It was you.
A creepypasta? Oh my gosh. Do you think that you could handle finding out that you're a clone of the original you, though? Because I don't think I could.
I think
you're not the original. Are you sure?
I think so.
Really?
I'm a pretty pragmatic kind of guy when it comes to that kind of stuff. I would just be like, okay. Like, I'm still like me.
But you wouldn't be like, oh, why am I here? What happened? Why am I
don't know when the real me is here. What do you mean?
I mean, is the real me still like hanging around and doing stuff?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. Like maybe
it's
the
your
real
situation. You can say whatever you want.
I just get like really messed up about like doppelganger stuff.
Okay.
And I think that if I found out that like my big thing is me finding out that I'm a robot that was programmed to act like a human.
That
that's pretty close to that.
Yeah.
We should talk about artificial intelligence because you still haven't seen that, right?
Right. AI. No.
God, that movie really messes me up.
My thing that scares the crap. Well, two things that scare the crap out of me. One, I have this weird like fantasy is the wrong word, but like thing that scares me in my head. And it's stupid too. It's the idea that I'm gonna like let Franklin into the house, or my dog Franklin, and then look in the yard, and the real Franklin's gonna be in the backyard. That's the one that I have. And what is the Franklin that I let into my house? A robot or a demon? I don't know. That's just a fear that I have.
Was that like a dream you had, or was that just something that came to you fully formed one day?
No, this is just a thought that I have in my head.
Okay.
I think it's
Squirrels of the forest run into a volcano, and you're like, "What's happening?"
I mean, I think it's a part of what's with the tall man, with the circus man, not the Conjuring. Maybe it is the Conjuring.
Two.
Is that the one?
Are you talking about
Conjuring
the Conjuring
2,
2,
they
the Crooked Man?
Talking about the Crooked Man.
Yeah, because the Crooked Man is the dog, and then he turns into the thing, and they look outside, and the real dog's outside. I think it's inspired by that, but it's less real than that.
Is that
anyway,
a part? I don't remember that.
That's a part. It's something like that. I don't know. But then the second thing that freaks me out, because we talked about AI, is that
Dylan is coming in with the hot takes in the chat. Dylan says, "I would love to be a clone."
Sign me up.
I'd prefer to be a clone, actually.
Yeah,
Why would you want to be a clone? Like, I don't understand. Because I think the only thing that makes you separate, because like this is also like science fiction cloning. We're not talking about cloning, because that's a whole other can of worms that I think it's immoral to even practice that science, but we don't need to talk about it. But like this is a science fiction clone where you're just a literal copy of like 24-year-old me.
Right.
Boom. There's another one. Like then I don't know, like who, like if there are still two of me, like who has the right to my life? And then like I don't have my feeling, I have my own feelings over here, my own feelings over here, but then who, like how do I show empathy for myself? What is it? This is basically all of these questions and more are answered in the Paul Rudd like show that he did.
Yeah.
Like looking at myself or talking to myself or something like that.
Living with myself.
Living with myself, there, that's the one. But like that just, it really messes me up. And what if one's better? Like one is better than the other one?
I feel like we just hit the nugget there, which is that Keisha's afraid that there will be a clone of her and it will be better than her, which I feel like is a whole other can.
But what if I'm the better clone? What if I'm the better clone? Do I say like, well, let's just get rid of the worst one? Like, what do you do?
Do you pretend to be worse to make the other one feel better? Or are you a jerk about it? I don't know. These are big questions.
I don't know. There's just a lot of things about being a clone that doesn't sit well. It doesn't sit well in my brain. I don't like cloning. Cloning is bad.
Dylan, I've got some bad news for you about Frankenstein's monster.
Keisha, have I got approximately 4 years worth of Spider-Man comics for you?
Is it just talking about the moral implications of cloning?
Do you not know about the Clone Saga?
Oh my god.
No.
It was literally, it's like one of the most infamous comic book series of all time because there was a period in the late 90s where like...
Well, we're just doing whatever the fuck we want in comics.
So like there's like 4 different Spider-Man series at any given time, right? And they decided there was going to be this whole thing where there's like a clone of Spider-Man that's Ben Reilly, that's the Scarlet Spider. But it's like this huge, weird, unwieldy, like sprawling epic that takes place over the course of like 4 different comic books over the span of like 3.5 years. That's just like all clone drama all the time. It's like Spider-Man being like, but am I the original clone? And for a little while, Peter Parker thinks he's the clone, so he gets a new identity, and Ben Reilly becomes the regular Spider-Man, but then they find out that's a lie, and they switch places, and it's seriously, and everyone hates it.
I need you to do the Spider-Man pointing at each other meme right now.
Yeah. Does it even matter if you are the original? What does it even mean if you're the original? Is there an original anymore? What happens if you clone yourself twice and the original dies? Then what's what? I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
It just freaks me out.
Okay.
I don't think I would like to be a clone.
What?
Hey!
Don't yell at him.
He was chewing on my speaker.
Maybe that's a video I could make. Maybe I could read the whole Spider-Man clone saga and just check in with people.
Yeah.
Be like, was any of this worth it? Like,
Do we like this now, or is it still bad?
I was thinking I should do book reviews on the Goosebumps book.
that would be fun.
Like Say Cheese and Die. Hello? That's a good
Todd.
one.
Hello.
And then you
Todd?
can compare the book to the television program.
The burning, what did he say? The burning, flopping corpse of Todd. What did he say?
Something like that. I don't know.
Smoldering?
He gets curb stomped.
Curb stomped
No,
Todd.
before
And
when he
he's
falls
under
into
the
the
buggy.
lava, before he's like the smoldering, flopping corpse of Todd or something. It's a really good like bit.
How are we feeling?
I saw
Oh,
Revenge
Todd.
of the Sith. Any movie character on fire really just messes me up. I watched Saint Maud this week, and that really, I was like, nope, can't. I need like a palate cleanser before I go to bed. This one movie that only I've ever seen. I've never met a single other person who's even heard of this movie.
I've
But The
heard of
Skin
it.
I Live In. No. This movie, The Skin I Live In,
Oh, okay.
starring Antonio Banderas. Have you heard of that movie?
Nope.
Exactly. Because why would you? Why would you have heard of it? But there's a burn victim in that movie that I'm like, Frankenstein. Ian, speaking of Frankenstein,
Pretty burny guy.
No, like Elizabeth, like when she gets turned into a monster herself in the 90s, the one with
The 90s one.
yeah. Who directed it? Oh,
I don't know.
Brad,
Silverling?
you know. No, he directed Thor.
Oh, Kenneth Branagh.
Kenneth Branagh. I was like Brad Kenna.
Brad?
Is what happened in my head.
Bradley Kenneth?
But Bradley Cooper. But she takes a lantern and goes and like flames. She's like burning, and then she runs down the hallway and like jumps out the window. And I saw that movie when I was 11 years old, and it really just messed me.
I thought you were
heck
gonna
up.
talk about who are the two guys that in Arrival the aliens are named after?
Abbott and Costello?
And Costello.
Abbott and Costello. I thought you were gonna talk about when Abbott and Costello meet Dracula, because in that film, in that flick,
What?
I couldn't remember what their names were. Shut the fuck up. I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember what their names
No
were.
one sets on fire in Arrival.
No.
Okay,
Okay, so
sorry, go on.
in Abbott and Costello meet Dracula. First of all, Frankenstein's monster is also there. And at the end of the movie, the climax of the movie, it's one of those like old movies where nothing happens the whole time. It's one of those.
Right.
But so they get to the end of the movie, and the way that they deal with Frankenstein's monsters, they just like put him on a dock and then set the dock on fire. And they just like, it's old-timey 1930s footage, literally, of just this guy in a Frankenstein costume as the dock like burns down. And then they do like this hard cut to like this like mannequin of Frankenstein just getting set the fuck on fire. And it's hilarious. And then the movie ends. That's the last scene of the movie.
Oh my gosh.
Highly recommend Abbott and Costello meet Dracula.
Remember when you watched Teen Wolf on the show?
God, I love Teen Wolf.
It's just reminded me of that like mannequin they have standing up on top of the car in that one scene in Teen Wolf.
Yeah, that one time. Yeah.
Teen Wolf 2? What about Teen Wolf 2 though?
Teen
Does
Wolf
such a
3,
thing
Electric
exist?
Boogaloo.
Yeah, except it's
Electric Jubilee.
Michael, what's his name?
Michael J. Fox?
No, it's not Michael J. Fox. It's Michael from Arrested Development. Jason Bateman is the Teen Wolf in this one.
They do look very similar.
Is that true?
That's a good casting.
Keisha, I feel like you're gaslighting me.
I'm not gaslighting you. I'd never lie to you about Teen Wolf 2.
Teen Wolf 2.
I would never lie to you about Teen Wolf 2.
I'm very
is-
serious about
promise
Teen
you
Wolf
will.
2.
Who is Jason Bateman? Why does he look like that?
I think it's his first
That's
role.
a good casting decision.
Wow. No,
They look
it's
very
not.
similar. That's a good decision.
It's not?
Jason Bateman and Michael J. Fox? No, they don't.
I don't think
They
he's
look
supposed to be
very
the
similar.
same. I don't think he's supposed to be the same wolf though. I think it's someone else. I haven't seen Teen Wolf 2 if I'm gonna be completely transparent with
I'm just
everybody.
looking at all the
Completely
stills.
on.
Jason Bateman as a teen is a bad vibe. I don't know how to express it besides that it just feels bad. It's not right.
Yeah, he should always be 40
he doesn't
plus.
have that like level. He doesn't have like that level of like smarmy that we like. You can't have that level of smarmy as a teen, you know.
This poster,
that sharp wit.
This poster, he's like leaning on a stack of books, like doing this, but it's like veterinary medicine, state leash laws, hair care for men, a book called Fangs for the Memories. What's going on here?
Great.
What's that one? Thanks for the memories. Going back, call back.
A book called Men Are Such Animals. Do you get it?
Do you get it?
I talked about when I found out about the sequel to The Fly, right? Like the 80s version of The Fly.
Did they make a sequel to that one too?
Yeah, so it's The Fly 2 is about the fly, Brundlefly's son. And I haven't seen it, but I heard that he just like ages really rapidly fast and then is just like another adult fly man who's an evil monster.
Right. I'm seeing some screencaps here that look pretty fun.
Stuff.
My version of The Fly 2 is that he's half fly, half man, a little boy. And he doesn't fit in at first, and then he finds out he's like really good at like baseball or something.
Okay, got it.
And then he like makes friends.
Okay, gotcha.
But then I said that to someone out loud, and they were like, "You know, that's just Teen Wolf, right?" I was like,
"Oh my god,
dang it! It is just Teen Wolf." But I like tender-hearted things like that. I like Teen Wolf.
It's come to my attention that people don't like Teen Wolf anymore. And
why?
Like, I don't know. Teen Wolf's pretty good. Like
Teen Wolf, it's
fun.
It's a perfect exploration of what it means to be going through puberty.
Right.
To be human.
Like, I just think of that scene.
Someone who's not human.
That scene where he's like fully transforming into the werewolf for the first time, and the dad's like knocking on his door, and he's like, "Are you okay in there, son?" He's like, "No, Dad, you wouldn't understand." And then he like opens the door, and the dad's like standing right there, and he is also a werewolf. Is so fucking funny.
Really good. Didn't see that coming, did ya? I love Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf's good.
Teen Wolf is good. Look at my own Teen Wolf right here. Hi.
Yeah, kind of.
Franklin turned 3.
No, he's just fluffy.
He is a Teen Wolf.
I'm a Teen Wolf.
You know
We're all Teen Wolves.
In Teen Wolf? Remember in Teen Wolf where he like hooks out during the basketball game at the end? Not at the end. Like,
and they're all just cool with it.
Well, but it's like at first they're all like, and then he just kind of starts dribbling the ball again, and just like kind of slowly starts to just keep playing basketball, and other people are like, yeah, it's so fucking funny.
Teen Wolf. I love Teen Wolf, man.
Movie.
It's a good movie.
The
slander.
They surf on top of the car.
He surfs on top of the car.
That's
and
fun.
We read that Letterboxd review of that guy whose friend died doing that, and he was like, "Good movie, though."
Yeah. I mean,
that was before your time, right, Keisha?
Yes.
Because we read this Letterboxd review for that movie, who was like, it was like 5 stars. Do not stand on the tops of cars. I had a friend who literally had severe brain damage because he tried that, and he never left the hospital bed the entire rest of his life. Anyway, great movie though, 5 stars. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a good recommendation. But like, there are a lot of things.
This guy's like, this movie literally ruined my life, and I still really like it. So yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, my friend died because of this movie, and honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. I get it.
Review for Mission Impossible. You're like, this is a really good movie. Don't ever try to ride an airplane without getting into the airplane.
People.
You could get really hurt. Yeah, true.
Good stuff. I do wanna. We are definitely. This is just fun. This is just fun stream time. We're not recording the podcast anymore.
Right.
But I do want to do some shout outs for some new people.
And
some not new people, but just people who've been there a second. Probably Nick. Probably thank you for showing up. Good to probably good to have you. Ben Eagle, what's up, dude?
What's up,
dude? At the podcast, thank you for showing up. And I think those are the only 2 that showed up. But like, hey, big preach. Love that you're here. Love new people just coming by it, checking out what's going on.
I like that
Mad
very much.
Preach.
Preach, what?
Sounds like
that.
It sounds like cream fraiche. I've seen like 3 episodes of South Park, and one of them is the cream fraiche episode.
I don't think
I've seen 0 episodes of South Park.
I really wish I hadn't. In 8th grade, I really wanted like boys to think I was cool, so I tried watching South Park, and I just couldn't do it. And I honestly thank myself for that.
I'm planning on making a video eventually where I watch a bunch of South Park.
Just like, maybe you can watch
never having seen it before, just being like, as an adult going into this for the first time, like fresh eyes, like what do I think about it? Is it bad? Is it good? Who's to say? And I'll see. I don't have an opinion yet because I haven't watched it yet. But...
Oh, Wajumbo's here again. We know Wajumbo.
Wajumbo.
I would Wajumbo. You Wajumbo.
I'm glad you're here now that we're about to stop.
Now that we're almost done.
Yeah. Sorry.
Baby, I'm sorry.
And next
week. When we talk about Cruella.
Or Cruella.
Cruella.
The day it comes out. So maybe we are going to be the first opinion you get about Cruella.
Maybe we should save this for next week, but in the old movie, it was Deville, correct?
No. I think so.
No?
I think it's just Devil.
Do you mean the animated or
that
the
is
live action
stupid.
one?
It's not a play
because she has a license plate.
It's not a play on words if it's just the word. That's dumb.
Well, I don't know what to tell you, bro.
Ville is funny. If it's just devil,
I think it's devil. But they say Deville.
Let me see. But it's also for children. So yeah, no, it's just about DE space VIL.
That is bad.
I know everything.
101 Dalmatians. Roasted.
1 star.
Roasted. Cancelled.
Cancelled.
Wait till Twitter hears about this.
What
was I going to say? Oh, we'll talk about Cruella next. I had something to say about Cruella.
But I have good news for you.
And we're going to have so much time to talk about it.
I almost feel bad going because we have like more viewers than we usually do right now. We have more viewers right now than we did for most of the streams, so I kind of feel bad just bouncing, but
we could chill for a sec.
Up on time.
For everybody that's enjoying the stream right now, heads up, if you're just chilling right now, we are going to be moving to Twitch at the beginning of June. So if you like the streams of us just chilling before the podcast, go ahead and get a Twitch account. You got plenty of time. You got 2 whole weeks.
I'm almost certainly going to stream myself making an honest to God speedrun attempt at Pokemon Snap tomorrow or Saturday. That's happening.
The new one or the old one?
The new one.
Okay, God.
Because I've been reading and I joined a Discord server, and I think I think I can get a half decent time. Like I haven't.
Respectable score.
I mean, I haven't done it yet. I'm gonna try it for the first time, having read up and knowing what to do. But my goal is to get sub 3 hours, and the really good times are 2.5. So that's where I'm kind of shooting anyway.
Do it.
So if you care about that as much as I do, you probably don't.
Yeah.
But
I mean, on Switch we jump in sometimes. We've been playing Mario 3D World. We'll probably do more of that.
We haven't done that since I got my new computer, and it'll be smooth and nice now. So maybe we should jump back in. I'm
saying we should just be Minecraft streamers. That's what I'm saying.
We shouldn't be. I don't want to be.
Jackson
I disagree.
Minecraft.
I'm saying I'm not gonna do that.
Okay. I might just play Minecraft by myself.
You can do that if you want.
That's a possibility.
You can all get on the Twitch. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah. Fuck you. I don't care. Play Minecraft. I don't give a shit.
Okay, let's call it a day. I'm sleepy.
Yeah.
And
I have to work 20 hours this weekend. That's not true.
In my room.
I have to work way more than that.
So thank you everybody for stopping by, swinging by, and we'll see you on the flippity.
Keep it salty.
Keep it flippity.
Sailors.
I already said that. I can't
Sailors.
say that again. But thank you, and we'll see you next week. We'll see you, or maybe tomorrow if you watch my other stream. Bye. Oh wait, I pressed the wrong button. Wait, we're still streaming.